You don't like the cheese wedge?
It looks like a door. Looks like a
Doorstop, yeah.
That's what the DS stands for.
Doorstop.
Exactly.
Nintendo doorstop.
What's up, guys? You are listening to episode 28 of the recurring Bosscast. I'm Jet from SplitKick.com. With me is Matt from Biff Bam Pop and the Screaming Eagle.
What's going on?
And Jason from Inside Gaming Daily and Slick Gaming.
Glad to be here.
So, I mean, we should say this off the top. Happy anniversary, guys.
Yay.
Happy anniversary! Yay!
Totally unprepared if you guys heard the pre-show stuff, which I may or may not cut out. As it turns out, we did our first official Bosscast about a year ago, and we are totally unprepared for that. So we may or may not have something special at the end of the show. Just look at the file size, and if it's really big, we got around to it, and if we did it, then if it's not there, then that's all my fault and I didn't get around to it. Too bad, so sad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Spoilers, it's not a 2.5 hour podcast.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
I mean, other than that, what's going on with you guys? Jason, how have you been?
I've been pretty good. A lot of work lately. So, I mean, we're getting busy because of the season for all the holidays and whatnot. So, I don't know, kind of extra stress at work. But beyond that, I was trying to rack my brain for what we really did that wasn't work-related and games that we'll get to later. And we went to this thing for Laura's cousin called the Tournament of Bands. And it's a local sort of competition / tournament for all the high school marching bands in the area. And there was probably
that's awesome.
20-ish bands there, maybe. And we saw all of them march, just like a really short march. And then later in the evening, we watched the bigger bands perform their field shows. And it was pretty awesome. So I was never actually in marching band because I couldn't do it because I played tennis and it was the same time. But man, it was cool. And some of the music was really, really good. And like the color guard had their like some awesome flags and their stage performance was really cool. And I just remembered there was this one school had this percussionist that was like super enthusiastic. And so he was playing like, I don't know, like xylophone or something, but he switched to these bongos and he was like super into the bongos and his face was like a child that just walked into a candy store with like $1 million gift card. And so he was just like bongoing like crazy. And when he wasn't playing, like when he was resting, he was still like moving to the beat like a boxer would before a match, like so he wouldn't get out of the move. And yeah, man, everyone was like looking at him and people in the audience were like pointing and you knew they were just like laughing at him, but he was rocking the bongos. That's all I'm going to say.
That's awesome.
So Laura and I aptly dubbed him Bongo Billy. And yeah, we have a video and we laugh at it all the time now. But it was pretty awesome. But beyond that, just tournament of bands and a lot of work.
I don't know if you know this, Jason, but marching bands bands at sporting events in Canada is a very alien concept.
Yeah.
Really?
I was actually going to say, I don't think I've ever seen a band at a sports event.
No, never.
Interesting.
When I went to Michigan to watch the NCAA March Madness, that was the first time I'd seen a band perform at a sporting event. That just doesn't happen in Canada.
No.
That's kind of weird. And even in like basketball, it's not even as big as like football would be.
Oh, of course. So yeah, I mean, that movie Drumline means nothing to Canadians. That's just why would people march out onto a football field and play instruments? They have to play football.
Why aren't they playing football? Yeah. Well, if it means anything to you, from what I've heard, that movie means nothing to marching band people either.
Oh, okay, sweet.
Yeah, apparently it's like a bad representation. So, yeah, I didn't know that about Canada. So it's just all about sports.
Yeah, we just get right to it.
Yeah. How about you, Matt? What's going on?
Unfortunately, not a whole lot gaming-wise. I did have an insane conversation with my IT department at work today, though.
Oh, okay.
I had a computer issue, and normally I'm pretty good with the computer stuff, but this thing just absolutely baffled me. So I called IT, and I literally talked to them for, I would say, about 5 hours, and then I resolved the problem while I was on hold, which I think made the whole thing worse, because I was so infuriated at the end. By the time I solved it myself, I felt like I just wasted the 5 hours of my life. But yeah, finally got through it.
Well, it's good.
But it's kind of been the story of my work week so far. So yeah, unfortunately not a whole lot of time for gaming. But on the gaming side, I have a friend of mine that is extremely, what's the word? Well, I guess he's really excited about the PS4 launch. So when it was announced that the launch date was announced and whatnot, he placed 3 pre-orders with 3 different stores.
Wow.
Yeah. So now he is sort of looking, or at least I found out that he was sort of looking to get rid of the 2 that he's not going to use, and I had not pre-ordered one, so he gave me his pre-order. So that worked out really well.
Awesome.
Very nice.
Yeah. So I'm going to give him the money for it.
What was the purpose of getting 3?
You know what? I don't really know. He's one of those guys that kind of does things for other people a lot. So he had a couple, like he had a, like a key hook chain thing at his desk, and it was one of those things where I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. And then he just gave it to me. So he's kind of one of those guys. So I'm pretty sure he probably did that just to have them in his pocket in case someone else forgot to pre-order it.
That's really nice.
Yeah. It's rare to find someone like that, but that's kind of his thing. So yeah, so I definitely won on that one.
Jason, do you need a PS4 pre-order by chance?
Seriously, I don't have one.
I'll see what he can do.
Yeah, hook it up.
That's awesome, Matt.
Yeah.
I've got a PS4 pre-order, but I'm starting to realize that Amazon is probably not going to ship it to me by launch day.
Yeah.
I updated my shipping to, I guess, the most expensive one, and it'll probably get here by a couple of days after, which, come to think of it, is not so bad because Watch Dogs got delayed, and that was the only game I was really looking forward to.
Yeah, I know.
So I'm kind of at a loss as to what to play.
So do you have
Drive Club also got delayed?
Or will you have anything else?
Sorry, can you say that again?
I say, will you have anything else for your PS4 when it comes out?
I'm kind of leaning towards NBA 2K14 at this point because
it looks amazing.
It does.
The OMG trailer is pretty awesome. I saw some actual gameplay though, not as good.
Oh,
but
really?
Still pretty good. But I also need to see it like 1080p on a TV because video compression and all that. Still, I'm still excited for the PS4 and what's to come for that system eventually. I think looking at the immediate launch lineup and the stuff shortly afterwards, I'm not very impressed, but I'm holding out hope that it'll get better.
It'll get better.
It'll get better for sure.
For sure.
But yeah, that Watch Dogs being delayed was a pretty big hit.
Oh, dude. I'm so heartbroken. That was the one game that everyone wanted.
Yeah. Hopefully it's the delay, like the good delay, because they're making it better. They're going to tweak it in the right way, and then it'll be worth it.
Well, I mean, at this point, something had to be extremely broken in that game for them to delay it at this point.
Yeah, this is way late.
Yeah. I mean, it was supposed to launch in November, which means this game was done, like, for all intents and purposes. And for them to recall it, I think April, they said, right?
Yeah, that's a huge delay.
So something was broken. And I mean, something big. So that's at least my perspective on it.
What do you guys think about that? Like I would assume, you'd always want a game not broken to be released, but do you feel like we are obligated at this point that, was it Ubisoft that did that they need to give it to us, or should they recompensate in some way?
Well, I mean, I don't think they should recompensate. Like, it's not like, I mean, they said it was coming out, but it's not like they owed it to us to bring it out on time.
Right.
I don't know. I think that it just kind of hurts the overall PlayStation launch.
Yeah.
It hurts the Xbox launch, too.
Yeah.
I think it hurts the Xbox launch less, because they have a few more exclusives than Sony does.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
And the weird irony is the one game I want to play most at launch is Killer Instinct, and I don't have a pre-order for an Xbox One. But that's okay. I'll move on. In the meantime, I have just been raiding Targets at the one particularly close by, because the clearance games are crazy. I don't know how crazy they are in the States, but I've just amassed a whole bunch of games in the last few weeks. Just every Monday, I'm over there, grabbing some stuff. I have this stack of games here, actually, just for this little bit. I got Game & Wario, that was $20. Metal Gear Rising Revengeance, that was $20. No one in Canada has sold that game for that much since.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I recently got Fuse for $18. Nice. These are all brand new, by the way. I think in Target in the States, they do sell used games.
Yep, they do.
I got Defiance for $14. Resident Evil 6. I know, not the greatest game. That was $10.
Nice.
Wow.
Ratchet and Clank was $15. That's the HD collection. Metal Gear Solid's HD collection was $9.
Woo.
And then Sly Cooper for $6.
Dude, those collections, those are steals.
It's not bad at all, man.
Yeah.
Every Monday I'm there just raiding, and I talked to the cashier guy who told me the system and how it works, and I'm already eyeing the next few games. Like, all right, next week it's going to be this. The week after that, it's going to be these ones. and so on and so forth. It never ends.
You should just set up a relationship with the cashier where she hides the games for you before you come in.
Yeah.
It was actually kind of funny. A couple of months ago, Steph and I went to Target, and the cashier was like, "I've seen you guys here every day this week." And we were like, "No, what are you talking about? No way." And then we thought about it, and we are like, "Yeah, we've been here multiple times this week. Let's not go back for a while."
But now you're going every Monday. You're a regular.
Oh, yeah, the guy's going to recognize me for sure as the one who just raids the games and does not care about quality necessarily. It's just, what's the cheap stuff?
Yeah.
I mean, Tomb Raider is $12 right now.
Not bad.
If you don't have a copy of that, that is a steal at that price.
Yeah, it's a good game.
Well, Jet, it sounds like you need to start a game collecting blog. Just saying.
Well, you've got your collection online, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
not
That's
too
true.
Jet's game collecting pro tips. Buy from Target.
That is all.
I mean, like in Canada, games usually bottom out at $20, and it's only on the rarest of occasions they hit below that, and it's usually like super garbage stuff. But I don't know, at Target, if you can get Tomb Raider for or $12, the craziest thing, PlayStation Vitas, because they're bringing out the new model of the Vita.
Yeah.
Targets were marking them down for $100.
Jeez.
Are you serious?
Yeah, $100 Vitas. They apparently disappeared right away.
Yeah, you could flip that.
Easy.
Well,
crazy.
I was going to say, because the quality of the new Vitas is less than the quality of the old Vitas, too. So the fact that they're lowering them,
It's
It's ridiculous, right?
that's strange. Wow. You'd think they'd go higher in price.
Yeah, but Target just doesn't care.
Target's crazy.
Yeah, crazy Target. I wonder if they will learn their ways and not do this anymore. But in the meantime, I will just raid them for everything they've got.
Hey, do it. I support.
Wow, I can't believe that Vita price. That's crazy.
Dude, the moment I found out about that, I just went to a Target as soon as I could, and unfortunately, they were all cleared out.
Yeah, I bet.
I think even the PlayStation 3s, the 500 gig version, those hit $150.
Oh my gosh.
Are you serious? Holy cow.
Just a few years ago, that was $600.
Yep.
That's crazy.
So that's it. That's my go-to spot. If I'm not buying a day one release, I'm just going to wait for Target to mark it down just where I want it and be done with it. So, I mean, I've been buying a lot of games, but I haven't played much of any of those. But what have you guys been playing?
I beat Rayman Legends. No, sorry, not Rayman Legends. Rayman Origins.
Very nice.
Yeah, it was a lot harder. You were right, Jack. Got a lot harder. Almost, I would say, tear your hair out hard at one point. But yeah, I got through it. It was good.
I mean, you must have grown some chest hair after beating that last level.
Oh man, I really can't even count how many times I replayed it. I think the button's worn out. Oh man, yeah, no, it was good though. Yeah, definitely recommend. I would say that's actually my first sort of foray into the Rayman series. So I played a little bit on the Wii U when it came out, when it was in the demo in the store.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, yeah, Origins was my first sort of foray into the series. So I'm looking forward to doing Legends next.
Nice.
Sweet. I played a little bit of the very first Rayman game. I played that on PC, and I liked it, but I don't think it was nearly as good as, say, Rayman Origins or Legends. I don't think it holds up nearly as well.
Yeah.
And I haven't heard good things about the 3D ones, so I think Origins is probably the place to start.
Yeah, I would say, I mean, that's where I started. It was great. I enjoyed it. Yeah, other than that, just I've been playing GTA Online. I don't know how I feel about GTA Online. It's got its good moments and its bad moments. So,
I mean, what do you not like?
Well, I mean, really, it's sort of stuff that I think I should have seen coming, but I guess I sort of talked myself out of it. It's essentially, it's sort of like the Call of Duty all over again kind of thing with all the kids running around, and it's just trash talk, and I inevitably end up just turning my microphone off and sort of doing our own thing, or we do invite-only sessions. But it'd be interesting to see what happens when Call of Duty Ghost launches, if the GTA Online lobbies will still be full or not.
I'm going to bet that they still will be.
You think so?
Really? I bet they won't be.
There will be the impression that it is still full. I don't think everyone's going to jump.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I would assume people would still stay, but I bet a lot of people are going to go to Ghosts. I don't know, just because I think it's going to hit with, Call of Duty, but then also all the new consoles. I feel like that's going to pull a lot of people away from PlayStation and Xbox.
All right.
Yeah, I can see that.
Do we want to put up a friendly wager on this? I think that when Call of Duty Ghosts comes out, it'll be the number one game on Xbox Live, but Grand Theft Auto 5 will be number 2.
I think so.
I would say it's accurate.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, that's still a lot of people, though.
Yeah. And
Do you think
number 3.
Ghost is going to sell as much as Grand Theft Auto?
No.
No, I think GTA will stay on top of that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think it being on a new console, because there's that overhead price of the actual console as well, right? So I don't know if it's going to sell as much. But yeah, I mean, as far as GTA Online goes, there's a bunch of things that are broken in that game that make the experience a little less fun. Specifically auto-aiming. Like, auto-aiming shouldn't be a thing. I mean, really, though, there's no skill involved in it, and there's no chance of you running a guy down in a car because he can just auto-aim you and shoot you through the windshield before you hit him. You can't run away from people because they can just shoot you from anywhere. Like, I don't know. And there's no friendly fire. So when you auto-aim, there's exactly the same amount of chance that you'll just auto-aim at your teammate standing next to you and kill him than there is of you actually killing an enemy. And I don't know. It's just, there's a lot of things that I would like to change in that game.
That's kind of disappointing.
Yeah.
And they have this bad sport thing as well. And there's not really any definitive way to become a bad sport. And there's certain things that you can't help, like specifically like shooting your friend by accident or things like that put you in the bad sport lobbies. And then it's literally like a graveyard. They put you in there and you can't join games with people who aren't quote unquote bad sports. And then you have to be in there for a certain amount of days. And sometimes it's not your fault. And it's really, I don't know, just not the best experience so far.
Interesting.
Yeah. Have you guys played it at all?
I still don't have GTA 5, so no.
No. Jet?
I've been playing other stuff. I'm also still waiting for it to not be broken.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not as broken as it was when it launched, but it's still, I think there's just still things they have to work out. And I think they'll do that. Hopefully they'll do that by listening to the feedback, but we'll see what happens.
I feel like your auto-aim issue, that was going to be a thing or a problem the moment they put that in. Like, it's great for single player because you're doing a lot of other things at once. But when you're in a situation where you can shoot other people by just, like, pulling both triggers, and of course that wasn't going to work out so hot. I've heard that if you turn off auto-aim, you go into completely separate lobbies.
Yeah, you can. And I think you can actually search now for non-auto-aim lobbies, but I don't think they're very full.
I'm sure most people aren't playing.
Yeah, which I mean is a shame, really, because that's sort of the only, skill that there really is in that game, and nobody uses it, so I don't know what that says, but...
So I just realized, guys, that we have emails, and we kind of skipped over that. So I think how we're going to do this, we're going to read one email, we'll go to what Jason's playing, read another email, and then what I'm playing.
All right, let's do it.
Structure.
All right. So this first email comes from Nefex. I hope I pronounced that right, otherwise known as Curtis. He says, not too long ago, I bought Fable 3 for the computer. Had it for the 360, but lost my saves at some point. Plus, it was cheap, so I figured, why not? I played it for a bit, remembering why I loved it. Then the real estate aspect of the game reared its ugly head. Have not played it since. That one aspect of the game turned me off from playing it. Have you guys had a game you wanted to replay, but something about the mechanics turned you away? What game? So I've thought about this. I wrote a whole bunch of things in games that I've played in the last few years that really drove me nuts on games that I otherwise liked. Right off the top, Assassin's Creed Revelations, the tower defense missions in that game were atrocious.
Yep, I would agree.
They were so poorly done. And it's just like, no one asked for that, ever, in an Assassin's Creed game. And they threw it in because it was a trendy thing at the time, and it's just so poorly executed, and it's not fun to play, and if anything, it's kind of broken.
It's definitely not accurate, that's for sure.
The 2D levels in The Blob 2. So at a certain point, that game was called The Blob 2 The Underground, to emphasize the underground levels, which are side-scrolling. And then at a certain point, that subtitle disappeared. And when I played the game, I realized why they did that. It's because the 2D levels are horrible in that game. They're just not fun at all. I don't understand how they screwed that up, but they did.
Really?
And that was, unfortunately, the biggest addition they made to that game. So it ultimately ended up just being worse than the first one. I know, here's one for Jason. Skystones and Skylanders Giants.
Whoa. What's wrong with Sky Stones?
It's terrible.
Yeah, it's the not as good Tetramaster. So yeah, okay. I mean, like I wouldn't say it's broken, but it broke up the gameplay in like a bad sense. So yeah, it was kind of annoying, and you had to do it for one of the levels, which made it worse.
Mm-hmm. The Mako missions in Mass Effect.
Oh my
1.
god, the worst controlling car in the history of anything. I mean, even worse than Grand Theft Auto 4 cars. Ugh.
It was that. The planet scanning in Mass Effect 2.
Yeah,
It was just tedious.
Yeah, exactly.
And the other thing, bosses in Deus Ex Human Revolution. So there's the new director's cut, which just came out, which they say they have fixed, which I hope they have, because in the original version, the bosses are some of the worst boss fights of all time. And just how broken they are in terms of, I mean, stupid AI, they're overpowered, or they're really dumb, just walk into walls, and you just keep shooting them until they die. And I think I got stuck on, I think it's the second last boss, where he just destroyed me every single time I respawned. And it was just like, this is not fun at all. I'm done here.
I can't say I've made it that far in Deus Ex.
I've still yet to play, unfortunately.
It's a cool game otherwise. I don't like stealth games, but I liked that one until I got to that point.
Yeah, I think I've started that game about 3 times, but I've never actually gotten into it.
Any other mechanics sort of like that which drive you nuts in games that you otherwise like?
I feel like I've been, or I guess maybe we've been, as a collective gaming group, been spoiled by just new types of games. So going back to old games, and like, let's take the original like Resident Evil. Not being able to save anywhere, yeah, that kind of annoys me. And so that's like kind of a turn-off. Just because, you can't play it. Like, I can't play it for 4 minutes and be like, oh, I gotta go somewhere and just save the game. So that's kind of something strange. But I guess that's kind of for every game, not like one specific game.
Yeah, that's true. Going back to the original consoles too, there was this one jump in the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And it
oh
was
my god, I know what you're talking
one
about.
of the earlier levels. I think you guys all know what it was, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I remember getting to that point, I would say at least 100 times. And just usually having to quit the game just because it would get so frustrating. That or defusing the bombs underwater.
I actually got to a point where I was really good at that. At my peak, I was about 7 or 8 years old, and I could swim through that entire thing without getting touched.
That's awesome.
It was the third level that got me. I'd always get lost, and I couldn't figure it out.
Yeah.
I can't think of any other games really that stick out that, I don't know, it's probably because I just tolerate what they are. So, like the difficulty for older NES games, we'll go with Mega Man 3 and Magnet Man Stage where those blocks keep appearing. Like, God, it's so hard and challenging, but it's part of the fun of that game, and it's not broken, it's just like really hard, but you get there and it's there and you're like, oh, man, but I don't know, it's always satisfying to cross. So maybe in a sense, like when I see some of those faults, it's just like, it's part of the game, so I accept it and just move on as fast as I can. But I've not played like Assassin's Creed Revelation, so I don't know how bad this tower defense thing is supposed to be.
Don't. Just skip that one completely. All right, so Jason, what have you been playing?
So it's been 3DS time over here, so I've been all on my 3DS like all the time. And I actually played the new Etrian Odyssey Untold, which is remarkably like Etrian Odyssey 4, which is actually really good. So that's pretty sweet. It's a dungeon crawler through and through. Really challenging, but really fun gameplay. I don't know. Like, I've never really played a dungeon crawler until I played Etrian Odyssey 4, and that was earlier this year. But I like them. It's really, really fun. And it's just a grind. Like, the whole thing is a grind, but it's the perfect example of how grinding can be entertaining, fun, and rewarding all at the same time. So if you're looking for that in your RPG, grab a 3DS and go to town.
So, Etrian, I didn't know Etrian Odyssey Untold was a thing. I don't really follow that series. Is that sort of like the Pokemon Yellow of Etrian Odyssey 4?
No. It is actually a remake / reimagining of the first game.
Okay.
So there's 2 modes, which actually makes Untold a fantastic deal because they're kind of like 2 separate yet kind of the same games. So the original games, so Etrian Odyssey 1, 2, 3, and 4 don't really have like a story mode in the sense that there's predetermined characters and a plot. So in this game, there is a story mode, and you can go through that and you pick up all the characters that they give you and the classes and whatnot, which is kind of different than what Etrian Odyssey is about, where you actually make your own party however you want, make the classes whatever you want, and then buy anything that you need. So it's kind of the exact opposite, but at the same time, they include a classic mode, which lets you do all of that anyways. And it's all based on the Etrian Odyssey 4 engine, which is fantastic. So it's pretty cool. And you can actually carry over your characters from one mode to the others. It's a nice New Game Plus, and it's a great challenge. So if you wanted to jump in anywhere, I would say Untold is probably a great place to start.
All right. I will think about that. I've got Phoenix Wright to play, though.
Oh, yeah. I just started Phoenix Wright actually yesterday. So.
Oh, dude, so jealous.
Yeah, no, it's cool. And like the beginning of the game, I was like, oh man, this is going to be intense. And so, did you watch the intro yet or no?
No.
Okay.
I downloaded it just before we started recording.
Right. Yeah, it's pretty cool. And I like, it's partly nostalgic and partly all new at the same time because, it's all objection, take that, and all the same poses and all that. But the story is already like wrapped around me. Like I'm really interested already. And it's pretty fun. So I'm excited to see what else they go with and other characters that might show up that I've seen before. So I don't know. I'm excited. Have you played another one in the series or no?
I've played the original trilogy. I've not played the Apollo Justice game or the Edgeworth game.
Yeah, likewise.
Okay. Do you feel like you're missing out?
Well, I haven't seen Edgeworth yet, so I don't know if he's even in it, but I'm sure he is. But Apollo is in it, and so it's kind of like, oh, I don't know who you are, and like that kind of stinks, but I guess I can just read it real quick.
Just read the Wikipedia page and be done with it.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, I want to play them, and like playing this game again, or this game now, makes you want to play the other ones again. So, I mean, that should tell you something. But yeah, and it's I can already tell it's going to be like the other ones where hopefully it continues to be a really well-written story, and it's one of the rare games that actually drive the entire experience as just a big story. Kind of like Virtue's Last Reward last year, where it's all just story. And so, I don't know, it's fun. I'm sure you'll enjoy it too.
I mean, that type of experience, totally not for everyone, but
right.
If you do like it or are interested in that type of thing, Phoenix Wright is one of the best.
Yes, exactly. Totally.
Matt, do you have any interest in this one?
Yeah, I mean, I might play it. I'm not sure. It's kind of a time thing, right?
Right.
For sure.
If it's anything like the other ones, I would say it would take, what would you say, Jet? Roughly like 30, 40 hours?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That's a commitment. Anyways, beyond that, running off of last week's episode, I've been rocking a lot of Pokemon Y.
Nice.
Why'd you go with Y over X? X is so much cooler in terms of X letter versus Y letter.
Well, but boys have a Y.
That's true, but X has an extra tick.
No, I actually, Laura and I decided together that we would get it, and then she wanted X, so I was like, all right, I'll take Y. And
you got burned.
No. Maybe. But
she totally got the better deal on that one.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm happy with my Charizard because he looks cool when he Mega Evolves, but he's not a Dragon type, but that's okay. But no, it's pretty fun. I actually just finished up my review, and I actually rated it very highly, and I think it's probably the most fun I've had playing a Pokemon game since the very beginning.
Did you fall victim to any of those game-breaking glitches?
I did not run into any glitches because I was fortunate enough to read about one of them before I actually got to that point. So I was like, all right, not saving in that town. And so that helped out. But Laura says it's her most fun game too. It's a Pokemon game since the beginning. So
many people were mad about those glitches. Holy cow. Totally saves are all gone. Total game's over. Yeah.
Yeah. That would
bad news.
That'd be crushing.
Yeah. I mean, how do you on the 3DS, I guess they're probably not going to patch it.
Yeah, I actually read that Nintendo might be trying to patch something. So, and it would just be a free download that you can also get off the eShop, but what they're going to do with that, I'm not sure. So, we'll see.
Anyone remember how they tried to fix Metroid Other M when that had a game-breaking glitch?
No.
They didn't fix it, did they?
No, what you had to do was you had to take your save, put it on an SD card, and mail it to Japan, and then fix it there, and then mail it back to you.
Are you
I remember that.
No, that happened.
Oh, man. Oh, convenience at its finest.
Exactly. Yeah, so anyways, I highly recommend Pokemon X and or Y to play. Really, really fun. A lot of interesting additions for like things that I didn't know that I wanted that I actually do want now that I have them. Mm-hmm. And it's pretty fun. And there's over 700 Pokemon now, which is, kind of nuts. But
Yeah.
beyond that, what that really means is that whenever you get to a new area, there's just a ton of things to catch. And it's actually really fun. It makes you feel, I don't know, like you're actually in this world that is just thriving with different creatures. And then the game really utilizes the 3DS's wireless communications, and it's just a really cool way to be connected to literally every other player in the world that is playing at that time. And it makes you feel like an actual Pokemon trainer. Like if anything was as close to being a real life like Pokemon world, it would be this game, because it does a good job of making you feel connected.
That's awesome. And you can fully customize your trainer now, right?
Yeah. I have like a V-neck and I look like a hipster, so it's cool.
Nice.
Have you battled online?
Yes, I have. Yeah, you can do. You can battle your friends just whenever you want, or you can just hop on and say like, "I want to battle this person," and they can accept it, and you can go into it. And there's like, you can set your parameters. So if you only want your Pokemon to be max level 50, it'll scale you down appropriately, and you can do whatever you want. So it's pretty cool.
That's
And
cool.
there's voice chat too, right?
There is voice chat. I was really surprised. When I ended up trading with Laura the very first time, it pops up like, do you want to use... It says something like game speak? I don't even remember what it's... Game chat. And I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. And so Laura's like sitting, in a chair next to me, and I'm hearing her voice through my 3DS, and I'm like, what is happening? So it's pretty cool. I mean, it's neat. So you can kind of talk as you're like, trading EVs or whatever.
I want you to just talk so much mess to these little kids as you're wrecking them with your Raichu
Yeah, exactly.
or your Charizard.
You better take care of my Charizard, you son of a... Exactly. So, also this is a really cool thing. There's this feature called the Wonder Trade, which, I don't know if you've heard about it, but you can go online and you submit a Pokemon for trade, and it's essentially a blind trade. And so you get something back from someone else that submitted whatever they wanted to. So what's kind of happening is people are putting up like Pidgeys and Bunnelbees, like the low level ones, just for kicks. So you kind of trade your Pokemon and get like a low level thing. But it's kind of like a lottery, because you could get a really good one, or you could get one that's exclusive to the other game, which is really neat. But what I've seen people doing online is that they're actually, when they beat the game and they're like, I'm not going to play anymore, they wonder trade their team away. So you could actually trade and get like, a level 99 Charizard. And that's pretty cool. I mean, like, it's a neat way to kind of, give back. So I'll probably do that when I finish the game, because I know I won't play it forever. So pretty cool.
Why would you trade your team away even if you're not going to play? I wouldn't trade away my Pokemon.
Oh, well, I mean, I don't know if I'd trade away, the high ones, like the ones I'm going to keep, but like eventually towards the end, like I'm not going to need, every Pokemon I have, so I'll make someone else happy and give them this one that's exclusive to Y. And then, be done with it.
True.
But yeah, that's pretty much what I've been playing, so I'll try to rev up Phoenix Wright this week too.
I guess I just realized this. This is poor planning on my part. There's an email from JJ. Have any of you guys been playing episode 1 of The Wolf Among Us?
I have not.
I've not played.
Yeah, clearly, because you guys just outlined everything you played. I have not either. JJ goes on to say, it's pretty fantastic. I wasn't sure what I would think of it. I love their Walking Dead series, but I never read the Fables comics. That didn't matter, though. Playing through episode 1, Faith, I was hooked. If you haven't played it, you should.
I haven't played Wolf Among Us, but I know it's coming. They just announced it's going to come to Vita.
Yeah, I read that too.
So I might play that when it comes to Vita. Or I might just get it on Steam.
I want to play him probably for the same reason JJ is, because he liked The Walking Dead, and I did too. But I'll probably wait until they all come out, just all at once, because I'm not that crazy about getting it now. So I'll try to save $5 and just get it later.
Yeah, and then of course they'll do a Steam sale or something later on. You get the whole series for $6 or something.
Yeah, The Walking Dead right now, I think on PSN is like $2.50 for all of it.
Oh, it's insane. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's crazy.
I'll probably wait for then, because I want to play it, but I don't need to play it right now. I've got other stuff to go through.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, though, that Walking Dead series, even at like $10 or something, is still a steal.
Yeah. Oh,
for all 5 games.
I want a physical copy of that game at some point. Even though I've beaten it digitally, I just kind of want one to have it, because
The
that
Walking
game
Dead?
means a lot to me. Yeah.
I heard that they're releasing another disc-based one with the DLC. Or the 400 day.
400 days. I don't think I need that too, so maybe when the original one gets cleared out, I'll just grab that.
Go to Target.
Yeah.
Target's like, Chet, we have this on for $5.
Yeah. They're actually going to give you a bin, just games for you to rifle through, and then when you're done, they just throw them out.
Yeah, so I'm not playing The Wolf Among Us because I've got to play stuff like Project Cross Zone. Okay, it's done.
Beat
done.
it. Woo!
Nice.
My final game clock was 53 hours.
Nice.
I don't know where you got the 40 from. Maybe when you killed a bad guy, did you drop the combo after they died, or you kept going?
Oh, I kept going from the very beginning because I was like, oh man, I can keep going. This must mean something. But towards the end, I just didn't care anymore.
Okay, because I did that until the very last level.
Really?
And I think that's why it took so long to beat that game.
I would do it if I knew the character's move looked cool, but after that, I just didn't care anymore.
Alright, I did it in fear of if I don't level these guys up enough, they won't be powerful enough for the last boss, but it was a moot point.
Yeah.
By the end of it, and so not worth it.
Ranking out of 10, or is there a review forthcoming?
Maybe at some point I'll write it up. I think, from my gut, I'd give it like a 6.
Legit.
Yeah, it's good, but I mean, they squandered, so it could have been better.
Yes, I absolutely agree.
Sure. I beat Pikmin 3.
Nice.
A lot more jazzed about that. I got accustomed to its systems, and I wasn't scared anymore, and I was having a lot of fun with it, and then a certain thing happened in the game where I became very scared, and then, not to spoil too much of how that game ends, but that last level is one of the best last levels I've played this year.
Cool.
And it does a really great job. Like, you're learning things throughout the game, and then at that very last level, it says, we're going to put you in this crazy, insane challenge, which requires you to use all the skills you've learned up to this point. And I think I beat the game in 40 game days. 30 of those days took me to the last level, and the last level took me 10 game days.
Oh, man.
And
Wow.
I lost almost all my Pikmin. I had about 500 Pikmin die in that last segment.
Holy cow.
It was to the point where I was like, I don't even know if I have enough dudes to beat this game anymore. But it was really well done, and if you have a Wii U, you should play that one.
Did you leave any more behind after you felt so bad?
That's spoilers. Won't go in. I mean, throughout the game, yes, I did leave a handful behind, but I was a little more cognizant of trying to get them back.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it happens. I think the way, by the end of the game, it said, I think about 800 Pikmin had died.
Oh, you're a horrible human being.
Yeah, you're a bad master.
Oh, man.
Before we move away from Pikmin 3, when I'm at work and like I'm not helping any guest or anything, like my mind zones off sometimes. And for some reason I was thinking of your story how you left that planet and the Pikmin was just like gobbled up. You know? And I was just thinking like, man, that Pikmin's life really sucks. Like his master just leaves him behind, he's trying to like scramble away, and then he just gets killed. So it made me think, I don't know. If I play that game, I need to save every Pikmin.
Oh, it's not worth it, man. Steph came in. I was playing in the living room because that's where the Wii U's set up right now. She came home from work late, and I was playing that last level, and the only thing she's seen of Pikmin 3 was me playing that last level, and she got really sad watching me play and watching all those Pikmin die throughout. And she was originally interested in playing it, but after watching the horrors of the Pikmin massacre, she just said, no, I can't do this.
This game is sadistic. Am I right?
She's like, how could you? And she runs out of the room.
Yeah. What else? Steph and I beat the Monsters U portion of Disney Infinity.
Nice.
Nice.
It was, I mean, we already knew that it was our least favorite of the 3 games in there, but for some reason we stayed up all night one Saturday night and just powered through it to the end. It gets really not so great at the end. In particular, there's one side mission where they say, paint these 20 posters that are scattered throughout this open world. And there's no overworld map, and they don't tell you where they are. So you have to manually find 20 posters. And within the first 20 minutes, we found 19 of them. And then it took about 90 minutes for us to find the last one.
That sucks.
It was really upsetting. We eventually got through it. I'm hoping the other 2 games wrap up better than this one did, because it got kind of sloppy towards the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just realizing I played all Nintendo stuff. I played some Black Ops 2 on the Wii U. Why would anyone pick up Black Ops on the Wii U? Well, it was $10 at Walmart when I grabbed it, so...
There you go.
Why not?
You're cheating. You're cheating on Target.
Yeah, seriously, that's the enemy.
This was months ago. This was before Target started putting those orange stickers on.
Got it.
I mean, I was really down on Modern Warfare 3. I thought that campaign was really lame. And right off the bat, Black Ops 2 starts out better. And I think the first future sequence where you have all the high-tech guns and people have the I don't know, that invisible camo thing.
Yep.
Yeah, it just starts out way cooler. And I played some online multiplayer. And there were about less than 2,000 people playing online.
Wow, that's way more than I thought there would be, actually.
It was easy to get into Team Deathmatch, but everything else was virtually non-existent.
Mm.
I mean, it plays like Black Ops. Like, I wouldn't know that it was on another platform. It looks just as good and plays fine.
Great.
It's just there's not that many people there. One thing that really weirded me out, a lot of people playing Call of Duty on the Wii U have headsets.
Really?
Every single match I went to had people talking. And you can't just use the microphone built into the controller. You have to buy a headset and plug it in for that to work. And every match had people talking in it.
Call me crazy, but I actually didn't know the Wii U had a headset like Jack.
I had fun with it. I'm enjoying it, and probably by the time we do the next episode, I'll be done it. I can't believe I missed out on this one game that I should have talked about from the top. I played Ju-On the Grudge Haunted House Simulator.
Oh my god, dude. I've heard of this.
I've not heard of this game.
What did you think?
So, funny story. For Thanksgiving, Steph and I went to Steph's parents' place, and Steph's dad bought this box of DVDs. And inside that box was 2 Wii games. One of them was the Overlord game, and the other one was Ju-On the Grudge. So I kept nagging Steph and Michelle to let me play this game because I was so curious to see what this is. And they finally let me play it. And it is, I mean, very loosely, it is like Slender before Slender.
Mm-hmm.
So it's first-person perspective. You have a flashlight. You have to find batteries before the flashlight dies or you just die instantly. But otherwise, you're just kind of walking around these really dark environments. And not much happens. The first level, your dog runs into an abandoned factory, and you have to go in there and find him. And
like a classic Saturday night.
Yeah. You walk in there, and it is embarrassingly dark. I don't know why they made the graphics look really bad. But Steph's family has a 60-inch TV, and with that flashlight, you could only see about 4 square inches of space.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
so unless you are right up against something, it was just pitch black.
Oh, Lord.
So, I mean, it's needlessly hard to navigate through any of these worlds because it's so dark. And then the only real gameplay is find the key to open the next door. And then there'll be certain segments where the little kid who sounds like a cat will jump out at you. And then there's the girl with the creepy hair who will try and grab you, and you just shake the controller to get out of the way. So, there'll be arrows on the screen, like shake up, down, left, right. One of the things I found out from reading reviews is that if you miss one of those arrows, you automatically die, and you have to start from the beginning of that level, which could cost you 15 or 20 minutes.
It's scary.
Some Nintendo difficulty right there.
So it's pretty bad, guys. Don't play that game. It's really short. I've played through 2 of the 5 levels, and apparently that's 40% of the game.
Wow.
So you could probably beat the whole thing in under 3 hours, and there's not really much to it. I think, if anything, I've seen on eBay that the prices for that game are not that bad. I mean, most of the copies I saw were selling for about $30, which seems really high.
Yeah, it does seem high.
So I guess for the Wii completionist, grab that one, I guess? No. Don't do that. But
Jet's seal of disapproval.
Steph's mom did not approve that game at all. And I mean, she probably didn't see how well she watched me play it the entire time, but I don't think she has as much of a critical eye towards how bad the gameplay is. But she was against having this scary Wii game in her house. So she was like, just take it or I'm going to throw it out. So I said, okay, fine. So now I have a copy of Ju-On the Grudge Haunted House Simulator.
Very nice.
Let's move on to our big topic of the week. So we have done send-offs for the Wii and the PlayStation 3, and we are just weeks away from next gen. So we've got to say one more send-off to the Xbox 360. going into the Xbox 360 launch, what was your experience with the original Xbox?
Very.
I never
limited.
played the original Xbox.
Really? Not at all?
Nope. No, not a single game.
My brother gave me an Xbox, probably his, with like 4 games, and then I think I bought KOTOR, and that was it. So yeah, I was super limited with Xbox.
I played an Xbox twice. One time, it was around the time it came out, and this video game store was demoing the Bruce Lee game.
Oh god.
And the 2 things I said were, oh my god, this controller feels horrible, because it was the super big one.
Yeah.
And then it was the Bruce Lee game, so of course that was really bad. And then I played about 10 minutes of Halo 2 and went, I have more fun with GoldenEye, and I didn't play it again. So, the Xbox 360 was not something I was really paying attention to at all. I did not pick one up until 2007, when I realized that the Wii was not going to do it for me. And I didn't want a PlayStation 4 because it was $600, and I was still beefing with Sony. So, by default, I said, well, I guess I'm getting an Xbox.
Legit.
So I went with the 360, and my first games on it were Guitar Hero 2 and Gears of War.
Nice.
No, 2 good choices.
Yeah, what did you guys grab first?
I was super late getting an Xbox, so I bought my friend's before he moved out of the country in 2008? Maybe 2009, one of those years. But I was always jealous of everyone that had Guitar Hero 2 for the 360, because it had DLC. So I was like, man, DLC would be so cool. But anyways, the big attraction, I mean, besides him giving me a really good deal, my big attraction to that system was Xbox Live Arcade. So the first game I got was actually Shadow Complex on the Live Arcade.
I have yet to play that.
Yeah, it's really good. I mean, it's probably still like $15, but it might go on sale. Yeah, that game is an awesome Metroid style, current game. Really, really fun.
How about you, Matt?
I got my Xbox in 2008 as well, so I was pretty late. But I got mine when I was doing the tour with Pepsi, and we had the MLG Pro Gamer guys that played Halo all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So it was actually on my birthday that I got. So in June of 2008, I got one.
Nice.
And I just got my butt repeatedly kicked at Halo for about 3 months by all the professional guys. And that was my first jump into Xbox 360.
Very welcoming.
So, yeah.
This Xbox,
and then
now die a lot.
I was a PlayStation guy before that, so actually, for multiplayer, I enjoyed Xbox a lot more. So that was one thing. I thought the community was bigger, and it was also more accessible on the Xbox 360.
Party chat.
I totally agree. I think that's one of the main reasons that I stuck with my Xbox 360 this gen more than the PS3 was because of the just online presence. It was, like you said, it was easier to access, much smoother.
Yeah, and chat, like you said, being able to go into a group chat.
Yeah, that's killer.
Party chat, rather. Yeah.
Yeah, with people playing different games and stuff. Huge benefit. I find one of the things I'll fondly remember about the 360 was, I guess, is Xbox Live and how that service has evolved over the years. I mean, compared to the PlayStation and, of course, the Nintendo stuff, the Xbox was just miles ahead.
Changed everything.
On pretty much every front. And, I mean, introduced... party chat and achievement points and a whole bunch of different services that were patched through updates and DLC. Did any of you guys ever buy horse armor?
No, but I remember it when it came out.
The original outrage, if they only knew what was ahead. Do you guys miss the Blades interface?
Oh, yeah, I miss Blades. Yeah, I know what you're talking about, though.
I seem to get more and more upset each time they change that interface. I really don't like it. I don't know where to find anything anymore.
Yeah, this one now is kind of like, I guess.
Yeah, so many ads, and if I want to go and buy something from the marketplace, you have to jump through like 5 different menus before you're even there.
I think my first, what is it? Interface was the one where like everything was, they were all like menus that were vertical. And then, like, you would scroll through them, and then they would pop open to, like, horizontal ones. And I thought that was actually really good. Like, I understand change to, like, keep it, fresh, but I felt like every change beyond that was just unnecessary. Like, I don't know, it just didn't work out as well. But at least they changed. I mean, like, their interface looks way better than PlayStation's.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Did you guys have any experiences with the Red Ring of Death?
Yes.
Oh, no.
I had my first Red Ring when I Xbox. I had the original, the Elite one, the black one, and
That's what I had,
I think, yeah, and when I think it was Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 or Black Ops 1, one of the two, in and around that era. I remember putting it in and playing it, and I remember the background started to get all glitched looking, and the colors started to wash out. And I said, "This is strange." And then
This is a weird
all of a sudden, yeah, bam, Red Ring of Death. And then I had a buddy fix it with pennies. Have you guys ever heard of that?
Pennies?
Yeah, apparently it has something to do with the soldering on the logic board inside the Xbox. So apparently, if you can wedge it in there with a roll of pennies and duct tape.
Wow.
So I got that done, and it lasted about 3 months, and
That's pretty good.
broke again. Yeah. So I was in the middle of a game, and we were playing. I think we were playing Call of Duty Online, and I logged off obviously because my thing red ringed, and my brother was in the other room. He's like, "Hey, where'd you go?" I said, "Oh, my Xbox red ringed." And then I left, and then about 20 minutes later, I came back, popped back online. He's like, "Hey, did you fix it?" I'm like, "No, I just went and bought another Xbox." So, yeah, it was about time.
That's awesome.
So I bought one of the slim ones.
I remember around that time when I was considering buying an Xbox, the whole Red Ring of Death thing was starting to bubble up. I was hearing about it on podcasts a lot. And my rationale for getting one at the time that I did was that I bought the first run of the Xbox 360 Elite, which they had said they had made some updates to address that problem. And then about a year later, I totally got the Red Ring of Death. My brother was actually playing it. I got the call. I was not in the house, and my brother gave me a call and said the system red ringed, and I was just like, no! And I was kind of upset at him for a while, but like, what was he going to do? It was going to happen when it was going to happen.
Yeah. Not his fault, I guess.
I mean, I got a new one sent back, and I've had that one ever since. Although I've had issues with the disc tray not opening when I hit the button.
Oh, really?
Sometimes I'll have to hit it like 12 times before it actually opens the door.
Wow.
So I'm kind of concerned about that. Like, we're getting really late in the 360's lifespan. I have a whole bunch of games on the 360 that I'd like to think that years from now I would like to go back to, but I don't know if this system's going to hold up.
Well, I'd say the time to buy would be like this holiday season if you want to get another one. A reserve.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm just going to have the money then, because I'll be buying a PlayStation 4.
Ooh.
So I don't know. We'll see. Red Ring of Death, that was a huge problem. Microsoft lost over $1 billion trying to fix that problem.
It was like a crazy number of consoles, right? That Red Ring, like 30% or something. It was a high number.
The first run was really bad.
Yeah.
I think they had reported it was 50%, but I bet it was like by the time it was all said and done, it was probably 100% of those systems.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. I would say it's at least in like the 70s. Yeah. Do you guys remember that the Red Ring had different variations? So it was like if one light was flashing, it meant something. If two lights were flashing, it meant something.
Mm-hmm.
They were all bad.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they were, but some were worse than others, obviously. The three red lights was the Ring of Death, which coincidentally is funny because 3 lights didn't make a ring.
Yeah, that's true.
And it was funny, on newer versions of the Xbox, they actually changed the way that button works so that it can't make that formation anymore.
I know.
I wonder why they did that. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Bad memories.
I never had the red ring, so I was lucky. Well, no, that's a lie. My system red ringed once, but it was because the hard drive wasn't in like all the way, and like of course I freaked out. I was like, "Oh man, I'm not ready for this." But then I just snapped it in, and I got lucky.
I really like the Xbox 360 controller.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
it's awesome.
The original Xbox controller was pretty horrific, but this one with the actual triggers on the side, that was a big deal, and everything felt great except for that D-pad.
Yeah. But realistically, you didn't use it all that much anyway, so...
Oh, well, I was playing Street Fighter on that for a while, and it was the worst.
Yeah. It's kind of rough sometimes, but... Overall, I mean, it's probably one of the elite, I don't know, controllers.
Oh, for sure. Like, everyone... I mean, the Nintendo Wii U Pro Controller, if anyone has that, is basically a rip-off of this.
Yeah.
I'm actually holding one right now, just for reference. It's a pretty great design, and the Xbox One controller... I've seen some people criticize the Xbox One controller for not being as good, and I don't know what they're talking about.
Well,
having played the Xbox One, I like that controller a bit better. If anything, I like that one a bit better than the PlayStation 4 controller.
It's a lot lighter. So maybe, I don't know, it doesn't feel as substantial.
Yeah, this is true. It doesn't feel as solid as the PlayStation 4 controller, and it does feel lighter than a 360 controller.
Remember the 6-axis for the PS3? I felt that was like a feather. Man,
Yeah.
I think that was too light. That was like holding an SNES controller again, with like 10 more buttons.
Love that quote from Phil Harrison. Rumble was last gen.
That's a Star Fox 4 thing.
Yeah.
This is PS3.
It's funny, I remember using the PlayStation 3 controller because I was really big into PlayStation before I got the Xbox. And first time I picked up the Xbox controller, I hated it. Yeah. And I was like, oh, there's no way I'm going to get used to this controller. And then I would say within a few months, I was like, how did I ever use a PlayStation controller? Yeah. This controller is so awesome.
I think Jet's right. Like, the triggers were pretty awesome. They changed, lots of games used it, and it was just so much more, what's the word? Ergonomic for your hands. It felt way nicer.
Absolutely. That's another thing with the Xbox One controller. The positioning is, it's really similar, but it is still a little different than the 360. So your hands sit a bit of a different way on the controller. I can't really explain it. You have to hold it to see what I mean, but you can notice the difference.
All right. Is there any other console stuff? We've got a whole bunch. I wrote down a whole bunch of console exclusive games, though we're free to chime in with whatever you guys want. I have Alan Wake on here, even though I don't like that game all that much. Because that was an exclusive on the 360 that some people really liked. I just didn't like how it was 10 minutes of great cutscene and then an hour of mediocre gameplay. I just didn't like it all that much. I don't know about you guys, but I didn't think it was all that great.
Would you say it's a better version of the Grudge? It's kind of the same thing, I guess.
Your flashlight illuminates more in Alan Wake.
There's more than just doors to find.
Yeah.
Now, I understand why you put Banjo-Kazooie on there, but, come on.
Nuts and bolts. People like that game.
Jet.
I'm not saying that I put it on there because it is a standout game. I put it on there because I went to Wikipedia and found a list of games that were exclusive to the 360 and put them all there, and maybe you guys would have some anecdotes to throw in about any of these games.
Banjo-Kazooie is by Rare, and they did Perfect Dark Zero for the 360, which sucks so much ass. Complete letdown. So I actually think after I got Shadow Complex, I bought Zero, and I knew it was going to be bad because it had already been out for like 2 years. But man, that game was such a letdown. I still regard Perfect Dark on the 64 as, I would say, in my top 3, if not top 2 games of all time. And
really? Wow.
Just seeing Zero is just so sad. It looked bad, it played bad, it sounded bad. It was just not a good game. It wasn't a good impression of the 360. Let's leave it at that.
All right, fair enough. Is there any game on this list that is special to you? Since we've just gone 0 for 2 talking about these Xbox 360 exclusives and no one likes anything.
Yeah, you put Left 4 Dead on here. Man, that game's awesome.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's amazing.
That's a
for sure.
genre-defying, generation, classic game. Even though it's on PC as well, but yeah, only on 360 for the consoles. That game is really fun.
Yeah.
1 and 2, they're both good.
Is it blasphemous that I've only played these on the 360?
Oh, not at all. No. I think it's 2 different experiences, actually. Because fortunately I have them on both, and a lot of friends only have it on 360, but it's, that again, going back to that controller, it still fits so nice, but at the same time, mouse and keyboard works fine too, and it doesn't matter what you're playing on. That game is just awesome. So you're not missing out on anything.
I've only played Left 4 Dead 2 on PC.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's fun. They're both fine. I feel like the PC is a little bit faster in comparison, but yeah, as long as you can play it, it doesn't matter where you play it.
Yeah. I remember playing that game, the demo of it first, just because it was a thing, and I was bored, and just went, oh my god, this thing's so incredible. And I let my brother try it, and he was like, yeah, we have to get this game. And we did on day 1, and we co-opted that entire thing countless times.
Oh, but the AI was so dumb in it sometimes.
Yeah, it was. God, they need to have no, never mind. I'm not even going to say anything.
We turned this into a Left 4 Dead ripathon. I like Gears of War story. The storyline in Gears of War was good for the first couple games.
Really? Even the first one?
It was all right. You didn't like it?
No, I thought it was pretty dumb.
Actually, I thought it was kind of bland too.
Huh.
I think they did a much better job of conveying their story in the second, especially the third one. The third one has the best story.
Yeah, I like this. Well, yeah, I like the second one. I don't think I actually got through the third one.
That's great. That's my favorite Gears of War.
The third one. Okay, so now I have to get through that one now.
I gotta open up a list of games and see what sticks out on 360.
Come on, guys. Halo? Yeah, there was a gajillion Halo games. I mean, it took a really long time for a Halo game to come out, but then once they did, they just came out like every year.
Well, they were the Call of Duty of the generation, I guess.
Except for
Call of Duty.
The Call of Duty.
But I mean, like, as far as competitive gameplay, Halo was sort of the pioneer of that, right? For MLG and whatnot.
Oh, man. How am I missing Fable? Fable 2
Fable
was
was
awesome.
exclusive.
Is that on there or no? No. Okay.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, there it is. Fable 2 and 3.
Oh, it is, yeah. It's
Yeah.
3, yeah.
I love Fable 2. I didn't like Fable 3 as much. Kind of for that reason. What was his name? The guy that gave us the email. Nefix Curtis. Didn't like it. Like, yeah, it was kind of tedious, but Fable 2 was really fun. That is like a super grand RPG, and the 360 didn't have too many of those, so just having one that was really good was kind of surprising, and to have it as cool and, I don't know, as entertaining as Fable made it really fun. And it's only like $2 now, so it's even better.
That was a weird thing. Early on in the Xbox 360's life, they put out a bunch of console-exclusive JRPGs
Lost
like
Odyssey.
Lost Odyssey and Eternal Sonata and
Last Remnant,
Blue
yeah.
Dragon, Last Remnant, all that stuff. And those were... I didn't play any of them. I just got the impression that they all bombed.
I feel like for the most part they did, but now they're kind of becoming more, what's it called? Sleeper hits, like cult hits among people, but yeah.
Lost Odyssey in particular seems to be the one that keeps coming up.
Yeah, Lost Odyssey for sure.
Here's a question for you. If any of those games came out as a PS3 exclusive, do you think they would have done better?
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah.
I think the PlayStation pulls that audience much better.
Yeah.
I mean, you can look at 360 has a Tales game. It's Vesperia, I think, is only on 360, and it's like a really good game, but like it just doesn't sell as much as like Tales of Xillia and all the other ones on the PlayStation, because I don't think people go there for it. So yeah, I guess in that sense, and I love RPGs, Xbox was definitely lacking, but Fable 2 was good. Give it that much.
I'd say it lacking in JRPGs.
Yeah, JRPGs.
Other RPGs like Mass Effect,
Fantastic.
which was the first one was exclusive for the 360 for a long time.
Yeah, like if you have an asterisk next to it, just to designate that.
Yeah, it did. It did come out eventually, and that was a pretty great game. I mean, I don't think it holds up nearly as well now as it did then, but in certain ways, that one was the most RPG of that entire trilogy.
Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah, the other one's focused a lot more on combat. This was more on story and kind of just progress.
I do have a soft spot in my heart for that one, and I think they did a really great job of developing that world and those characters.
Even with the Mako missions,
Oh my god, screw the Mako mission.
your car can just go sideways and anywhere at once.
Oh my goodness. How do we skip Crackdown?
I never played Crackdown.
I never played Crackdown either.
Yeah.
What? Are you guys kidding
No,
me?
seriously.
Oh,
Oh wait, I got one for you.
I
How do you miss Dead Rising?
Oh, wow. Yeah.
have that. That was free a couple months ago on Xbox. I played the demo of that a lot. But
Which one? Dead Rising?
Yeah.
I liked it. Any game where I can just put on a mask of a Servbot from Mega Man is, in my book. But that game was pretty cool, and it was it came out when I didn't have a 360, and it actually made me kind of jealous I didn't have one, because it was it was a neat experience, and I mean kind of like how Left 4 Dead was a bit more revolutionary in like zombie shooters and like how it worked. I felt like this game did something different and new, and I really wanted to play it. And in retrospect, it was just okay. It wasn't the greatest game, but it was definitely a fun experience.
It was that first time of going into that mall and seeing 100 zombies on screen
Exactly.
at once.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool. I mean, definitely something you couldn't do last gen, and yeah, it's still fun. It's a neat experience. Worth it, in my mind.
So can we go back to Crackdown
Yes.
for a second? Matt, you need to come by, and I will lend you my copy of Crackdown
Okay.
to play. Or I can drop it off or something. But you've got to play that game. It is the super fun superhero GTA game. Jump anywhere, shoot everything, take on the levels in assorted orders, and it's just one of the most fun open world games out there.
Well, you sold me on it.
Yeah. I actually have Crackdown, I just haven't played it.
What?
And I've had it for like 3 years.
Ah!
Jet's head just explodes.
Guys, I haven't not been more disappointed in you guys than right now.
Sorry, Jet. I let you down.
I'm sure that you guys are going to get it in the Split Kick comments too from Jim
Yeah.
and the gang over at Rocket Jump. Just like Crackdown. Come on. Don't play Crackdown 2, though. That game sucks.
Yeah,
Okay.
I've heard.
I need to crack down and play Crackdown.
Yes, absolutely. I don't like the Kinect at all. That was a very big thing towards the end of the Xbox's life. But I do love me some Dance Central.
Mhm.
Yes, that's true.
Fun game, man.
That is a lot of fun to play. I don't think it works that great as a party game, though.
Really? You don't think so?
No, the problem is that it requires people to, like, know dance moves or, like, pick them up, or else they just don't do very well. It's very easy to get discouraged by it if they struggle at the beginning. It's almost like you need to practice these routines as opposed to, say, something like Just Dance where you're not on screen and it doesn't really measure you all that great, so you can just kind of get silly and have fun.
Yeah.
Like with Dance Central, the fact that it is so precise means you actually have to do the moves properly, which requires a certain level of skill that a lot of people don't have, like me. My brother is probably the biggest Dance Central fan. It's just really weird, because he never danced until Dance Central, but when he got that game, I think he's 5-starred almost every single song on hard in every single Dance Central game.
Is he like a really good dancer, though, in real life?
No, he'd never danced until Dance Central.
Holy cow.
His only experience is Dance Central dancing, and he still plays that Dance Central 3 regularly. Bought all the DLC, and has destroyed it.
But has it made him
When
a better dancer in real life?
Yes. Yes. When Dance Central 3 came out, he 5-starred almost every single song in that game on hard on the first day.
Wow.
And the only one he hadn't was the final song, which is, I think, Oh My God by Usher.
Wow.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, that's impressive.
One of my favorite Dance Central moments was the last time we went to Video Games Live, and Randy and I did a dance battle because they had Dance Central set up, and he totally kicked my butt in front of everyone. He was drawing in crowds. People were coming in to watch my brother dance on that game because everyone was playing on easy, and he's like, oh, forget that. Throws it on hard and just kills it.
I remember
That's
doing
wicked.
that with DDR back on like PS2. People will be playing on like basic, and you just go to the arcade and play it on expert. You're like, yeah, get out of my way. Made you feel like a
Get
big
on my
man.
level, bro.
I remember I was able to go to PAX East in 2011, and I remember they had Child of Eden there. Just speaking of Kinect
I didn't
games.
write that one down.
That was pretty cool. I don't know if that's exclusive anymore, but it was a neat
No, it's not.
experience, I guess, but it wasn't like nothing about Kinect ever sold me. Like I didn't need to have that camera. I guess the best game was probably Dance Central, but I don't know. I just felt like it was kind of unnecessary.
Recognition for movement was just not very good, which really limited what you could do. So, I mean, the executions for it weren't very good. And I think even if you make that technology better, like, what? I don't want to play any of those games other than another Dance Central.
Yeah. There's already 3 of them, so...
Yeah. DLC was a huge thing on the Xbox. I find that it was maybe the first system that really did it, and in particular, Rock Band was the DLC killer for me. I've bought hundreds of songs by the time it was all said and done.
DLC, what did I buy a lot of? I don't know. I feel like I didn't do much DLC, but I did a lot of Xbox Live Arcade stuff. So, I mean, going back to Shadow Complex, but like if there was ever a deal through, the deal of the week for gold, and I liked it, I'd buy it. Like even this week, the deal of the week was for, Left 4 Dead was on there, so I got the 400 days DLC, but yeah, anything I could download was like really fun. And I felt like it was that was a neat service to bring back a lot of older games that just came back, like, Guardian Heroes came out for it. That was pretty sweet. Like Dungeon Defenders was on there. Castle Crashers is a big game. Those were all like awesome download games. And I think Xbox kind of pioneered it for consoles. So that was pretty sweet.
How could we forget Summer of Arcade, which used to be awesome?
Yeah, exactly.
Bionic Commando Rearmed, Braid. You mentioned Castle Crashers, Geometry Wars 2.
I have all of those.
Shadow Complex, Explosion Man, Trials HD.
Oh man, all classics.
I love me some Trials. I introduced my little cousins to Trials over the Canadian Thanksgiving weekend. They almost exclusively play Call of Duty. And they actually came to my house and they wanted to play Grand Theft Auto 5. And I was like, how about this Trials game? You're on a motorcycle and you make cool jumps. And that tided them over for quite a while.
It's a fun
Trials
game.
is wicked. Yeah, I enjoy Trials.
And then just as it progressed, it got worse and worse. This year in particular, I think Summer of Arcade was pretty bad, with the exception, well, Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons I've heard is good.
DuckTales is okay.
And Charlie Murder I've heard is okay. That was not Summer of Arcade. That came out in the summer, but that was a PlayStation exclusive.
Wait, which game? DuckTales. Yeah, you're right.
That was not part of Summer of Arcade. Yeah.
I think, did Summer of Arcade include the Turtles game? Oh god,
Yes,
that
it
game
did.
is terrible. Totally downhill.
Were any of you guys big fans of Viva Pinata?
I actually did play it, but I don't know. I didn't play it for more than like 6 or 7 hours. So, cool idea, but it was kind of a lot of work.
Definitely. It was, my brother did like that game. Can you beat Viva Pinata?
I don't know. I feel like it's more like one of those Animal Crossing games where, like, you know, you just play it forever.
I don't even know. I remember my brother playing a lot of it. I don't remember if he got to the end. If there even is an end, I'm sure our listeners are yelling at us like, what? How have you not played Viva Pinata?
There's a TV show.
Or at least know that there's an ending or not. Yeah. Fudge hugs. So, before we leave we pour one out for the Xbox 360. Where do you guys think the 360 sits in your pantheon of systems you've ever experienced? One of the better ones? One of the worst ones?
One of the better ones for sure.
Yeah, I'd say better.
I'd say specifically for the multiplayer community. I would say it's without a doubt the best multiplayer console ever made.
Today? Okay.
I could see that, yeah.
I've thought about this, and I think I could make a case for myself that the Xbox 360, in a way, is my all-time favorite system.
Yeah, I could definitely see that.
That had a lot of amazing games from first party and third party. According to my Darkadia page, I have 150 Xbox 360 games, which is way more than anything else. Granted, I have way more money than I did when I was 8 years old playing yes.
Yeah.
But could I fill out my library? Maybe. But yeah, there were so many awesome games. There were so many advancements in video games, from the whole online component to downloadable games, DLC, indie games were a big thing on the Xbox for a little while before they kind of shut the door and all that stuff. And I think the only thing that holds that system back when I think about it is nostalgia. But, I mean, that's not necessarily fair to the Xbox 360 itself, because it came out when I was a lot older.
Yeah, that's true.
If I'm a kid growing up now, when I think about my little cousins who came over here only playing Call of Duty, I bet when they grow up, they're going to say, man, it's not going to compare to the Xbox 360. And that's not a bad thing.
Yeah. I think that a lot of other systems did many things well, but I think the Xbox 360 did everything well. Just sort of all of the sort of aspects of gaming, it kind of got. The multiplayer, the single player, it had the certain exclusives that were really good. The arcade was really good. I don't know. It just kind of hit all the points.
And it constantly evolved. The box we got on launch, or whenever we got it, is very different from the one that we have right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that was the first system to really evolve like that.
Yeah, that's true. You only got a slim PS2 and that was it, nothing else.
So I'm going to miss the 360 once it all... I mean, if there's still more to come, I think we're going to have at least another year of the 360 in terms of cross-gen games. For me specifically, Ultra Street Fighter 4 is not going to next gen, so I'm going to have my 360 plugged in for a while I'm beating up fools in that. I mean, it's been a great run for that system.
Definitely.
And I guess it's kind of weird that I've completely ditching Xbox for next gen, at least for the time being. But we will talk about that on another show.
Just on the record here, there's a Microsoft executive who said that they are still going to support the Xbox 360 as far as games and whatnot for at least 3 years.
Wow.
Maybe.
That
I
seems
don't know.
like a long time.
Maybe not specifically releasing new games, but they'll support it.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you're going to get, I don't know, FIFA 2017 on the 360, where it's just the 2014 game with new rosters.
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
It'll be like that, I think.
Yeah, they said they'll support the Xbox through 2015. What that means, who knows?
Who knows?
I mean, they were still making PlayStation 2 games for quite a while after the PlayStation 3 was released, right?
Yeah, usually those sport games,
sure.
like Jet was saying, a lot of those come out, but
They only stopped production on the PS2 this year or something?
Yeah, it was ridiculous,
a
long time.
it's because the PS2 is amazing.
Well, yeah, I mean, definitely one of the highest demand consoles, right? So I don't know if there'll be that demand once the Xbox One comes out. Who knows? It'll be an interesting few years, that's for sure.
Yeah.
See what happens.
Until next time, we should wrap things up.
Yeah.
Jason, what's going on with you?
So I have my Pokemon review. It's out. It should be out by the time this show goes live. So that's there. I will still be playing Pokemon though. And beyond that, I just started the initial research step for a Game Hunter's Journal. So it's a 3-part sort of series I'm going to do on the blog. It's written, not the video one, about collecting different types of games for different systems, like current gen, last gen, and then vintage. So lots of new tips there. So
cool. While we're on the subject of the 360, what games are we going to look back at as collector's items?
Collector's items? Ooh.
Yeah.
I would say, just as a rule of thumb, anything that says collector's edition is probably going to be a bit more collectible.
Oh, this was the generation where all that happened.
Yeah.
How do we not talk about the cat helmet?
Exactly. Anyways, not to get too far off topic. I would say anything like that would be a collector's item, and then anything that stands out as being something the Xbox 360 didn't really do that well. So, JRPGs will probably stand out as being a bit more collectible, and anything that got a short run. I don't know if any games that got discontinued or anything like that, but anything that stands out, you're like, what the hell is this? That might be, I don't know, something that could stand out as a collector's item. So, and then there's, of course, the big games you'll always want, Halos and Gears of War, Grand Theft Autos, the ones that stand out. Those will be classics.
How about the Burger King trilogy?
The what trilogy?
The Burger
King trilogy.
Oh, yeah. Those are exclusives. How do we not talk about those?
Yeah.
Yeah, I bought those about a month or so ago.
Yeah, you talked about it on the podcast. You said that they were
those
interesting.
I'm sure they won't be classic games, but they'll be collector's items because they're just ridiculous enough.
There'll be collector's items like the hockey helmets from McDonald's. Do you remember those? The goalie masks that you used to collect?
I don't remember those, actually.
Did they get those in America?
Nobody? Oh, they probably didn't.
Yeah, maybe not.
They got footballs instead or something. I don't know.
I don't know. Lame.
Yeah, I'm looking at my collection now, and I don't know what would stand out as a collector's item down the road. I don't know, Driver San Francisco?
Yeah.
Just a random thing I'm seeing off the shelf here that wasn't very popular, but it reviewed well, and...
Yeah, those are the ones that'll be, ones to look out for, so...
And then on top of that, I wouldn't say almost all, a lot of these games have digital versions, so that kind of shortens their value as well.
Definitely. Any digital game will make your physical copy go down in value. Wah, wah, wah.
Or will it become more rare to find a physical copy of certain games?
What was that?
I said, or will it become more rare to find a physical copy of certain games?
It could be. I mean, I think that's the trend that we're going for, just as a whole for video games. So, we'll see. I'm excited and scared at the same time.
How about you, Matt? What's going on?
Halloween stuff. I don't really know what's happening for Biff Bam Pop yet. It's going to be Halloween / horror related, and obviously video game related. So I'm not quite sure what that's going to be yet, but there'll be something in the future.
Do you want to borrow my copy of Jouan?
I was thinking the exact same thing.
Simulator.
You know what? That actually might be a good idea.
If you have access to a Wii, you will... Yeah, I could lend it to you.
I don't
have a Wii, though.
Yeah,
damn it.
I don't, unfortunately. But
maybe come by and we'll play some.
Yeah, I was going to say, or you could just recollect it for me and I could do a write-up that way.
There was a lot of dark rooms.
Yeah. I remember a flashlight, and that's about it. Yeah, and then we're doing a Halloween-themed Screaming Eagle podcast coming up this week. So that should be out, I believe, just before Halloween. So it depends on when you're listening to this.
Excellent. As for me, I am going to start playing Phoenix Wright Dual Destinies, and I'll be writing up something for that for Splitkick. I don't know if it's going to be an impressions piece or a review. I guess it depends on how long I think it's going to take me to beat. If it's something I can power through quickly, then I'll write something up like a full review. Otherwise, I'll just do some impressions to get something on the site. Otherwise, lots of video stuff going on Splitkick. I mean, the Spelunky Mania has kind of cooled off a little bit, but, I mean, there's a lot of videos now for Amnesia, The Dark Descent, Penumbra Requiem, Adventure Park, and, of course, you can listen to the Rocket Jump podcast, their last episode, Hot Dogs and Tank Controls. It was a pretty fun one. They do talk a lot about Spelunky on that one too. Have you guys played that one? That's one...
Spelunky?
Now that I think about it, that was Xbox 360 exclusive too, right?
It might have been.
For a bit,
Yeah.
I believe.
I've not played it.
For a bit. Okay, I haven't either.
Moving on.
On Twitter, you can find us at Matty Lang, at JJSicki, at Jetlandicho, and at SplitKickCom. And until next time, this may or may not keep going with the second episode of the Currently Unnamed Podcast. Or podcast, who knows? I don't know yet, but I guess you'll just have to find out now.
That's going to be really disappointing if it isn't.
Hey everyone, you are listening to a yet-to-be-named podcast. Yeah, no, we are not using the CUP. That is not sticking. Sorry, guys.
That's not a good one.
No.
So now we're YTN?
YT, for the time being. We are still working that out.
FTTB?
Yes.
For the time being.
CMYK,
For the time
RGB, XQJ, question mark, exclamation point. Alright,
Sounds good to
so
me.
I'm Jet from Split Kick, and in third person with me is Jason from Inside Gaming Daily and Slick Gaming.
What's up?
Hey, and Matt from Biff Bam Pop.
What's going on?
So I've been wanting to talk to you guys about this for the last few days. So I'm going to hog like the next 5 minutes. Please bear with me on this. So
Bearing down.
my girlfriend and
Should I hold on
live.
to something, or?
Sorry.
I said, should I hold on to something? or-
Yeah.
Yes, hold on to your hats.
Okay.
Okay, so my girlfriend and I live in a part of the city that kind of has a bad reputation for criminal activity, particularly of the homicide variety.
The
Wow.
worst kind.
And since we've lived here the last few months, some things have happened. There was a big shooting at a community barbecue. 20 people got shot.
Oh my gosh.
Wait, that was in your area?
It was on the opposite end of the city that I live in.
Because I remember hearing about that in the news. That's pretty crazy, Jet.
So every time people ask me, like, how things are living in this particular city, I always say, like, well, I haven't gotten shot yet. And,
Wow.
so about that. No, I haven't gotten shot. I'm still alive. But
Well, that's good.
late Saturday night, Steph and I were out of town, and we get home. And as we're going up the elevator to this place, to our home, not that I live in a mansion with an elevator or anything, I live in a condo. The guy that gets
Yeah,
in the
nothing wrong
elevator
with
with
living
us says, is there any cops on your floor? And we thought, this is a really random question to ask. No, there are not any cops on our floor, not knowing what's happened. So we go home, go to bed. Wake up the next day, and we're heading out to go out of town again, and we see this sign by our elevator that says, last night, unfortunately, there was an incident, and the part of the building is a crime scene, and once the police give us the clearance to clean everything up, we're going to do it, and we're going to restore this floor back to its old glory. And we're just like, what the heck happened while we were gone? So later that day, Steph and I decided to actually go take a look. And so we went to all the floors to kind of see what happened, and we finally found it. So there, we go around the corner, and there's two guys with like the big carpet Zamboni cleaner thing. And
Right.
Steph immediately thinks she knows what's up and goes around the corner. She wants nothing to do with it. But I keep walking forward, and I get to the offending area, and I find myself at the door to the stairwell, and there's this just like giant wet spot circling around the door that takes up almost the entire hallway, and I'm like, oh, something not so great happened right here. And we immediately go back upstairs, Google it, and apparently about 30 minutes before Steph and I got back, someone got stabbed
No way.
in the building. And this stairwell is like one flight of steps down, and the closest stairwell to my floor, to my like apartment.
Wow. You hit the stairwell lottery.
So I mean, I'm still very much okay. I hope the guy that got stabbed ends up being okay. But like, oh, what was that? Did someone hang up?
No.
Because I heard the Skype thing come back on. Rookie mistakes. Yeah, Jason actually dropped off the call. I'm not sure what that's all about, but let's try and call him back in.
All right. Actually, Jet, you know, it's just going to be you and me from now on.
That's fine. It's the Jet and Matt show.
Jen Macho.
Anyway, we'll try and call him back on. Hopefully.
Yo.
Hey, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, you dropped
weird
off the
internet,
call.
Internet dropped.
Okay, that's...
He didn't like your story, so he left.
Are you...
Yeah, this was too scary to believe.
Are you at least still recording?
Yeah, I didn't stop.
Okay, great. I know we haven't talked about this before, but in case you drop off of Skype, keep the recording going.
Yeah, I figured.
Pro tips. Great. So yeah, someone got stabbed in my building, and my girlfriend and I have been kind of thinking about whether or not we stay in this building for next year, and I don't know anymore. I kind of like it, but the fact that a dude got stabbed not too far from my door kind of freaks me out.
Yeah,
understandable.
No, that would pretty much freak me out too.
So that's my story. I know, Matt, you and your significant other are about to go through the same thing that Steph and I just did, hopefully with no one getting stabbed.
Yeah, I was just going to say, which part are you talking about?
Care to share?
Yeah, actually, I'm moving on Saturday, so we're getting everything ready, and hopefully it goes off without a hitch. We'll see what happens. Hopefully there's no stabbings.
Hopefully.
One can dream.
Oh, we can hope for it.
Are you moving to a decent part of town?
Yeah, I'm moving down near High Park.
Okay.
So, yeah, I'm like the Bloor and High Park area.
So, for people who are not Toronto natives, so let's say they're familiar with Toronto downtown with like the CN Tower and the Skydome / Rogers Centre, roughly...
You're not going to ask me for directions, are you? Because I'm terrible with directions.
I'm not going to give people like your exact address or anything like that. But
No, I mean,
in relation to the downtown core, where are you? East, west, north?
I believe I am northwest.
Northwest.
Slightly more west than I am north.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, High Park is like one of the biggest parks in Toronto, if not the biggest, I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
So we're basically pretty much right across the street from it.
Cool.
That's cool.
Really cool area. Yeah, the balcony kind of looks over it. It's pretty nice.
Sweet. Yeah, and just for reference, I also live in the greater Toronto area, but I'm on the opposite side of town.
But you're in a building, so maybe we can wave to each other.
Maybe we could.
We get a nice high-powered pair of binoculars.
I can see quite a bit from here. I can see the CN Tower from my window. I'm looking at it right now.
I can also see the CN Tower from my window.
Oh.
Whoa, wavelength.
Whoa.
This is what I'm saying, man. Nice high-powered pair of binoculars. We could say hi to each other in the morning.
There we go. Jason, can you see the CN Tower from where you are in the world?
You know, on a clear day, I can't. No, I can't.
You're in Seattle, though, right?
No, I'm in Michigan City. We're close to Chicago.
Oh, Chicago, sorry.
Yeah, I can see Chicago on a clear day.
Well, there you go.
Like over across the Lake Michigan.
Okay. Matt, do you have any Michigan stories?
I drove through it a couple times, really fast.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
No, I don't really have any Michigan stories, no. A friend of mine, his sister is actually a scientist. I'm not sure exactly what kind of science, but she had an internship in Michigan. So that's basically my extent of Michigan knowledge.
It's cool.
I was in Michigan for about a day, 24 hours. I was there for March Madness, actually.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I was there, it was like 5 or 6 years ago, and it was one of the most amazing sports experiences of my life.
I would assume you were there for Michigan State University, MSU? They're the green ones?
I know who the Michigan State Spartans are.
Okay, yeah.
Magic Johnson and all that. No, I wasn't there for Michigan State specifically. My uncle actually got tickets somehow through his work.
That's great.
And so we just took a road trip and decided to go. And it was a lot of fun. And the American crowds are very different from the Canadian ones, or at least for post-secondary education sports. It is such a huge deal in the States, and it means nothing in Canada. Kind of sad.
Yeah, that's what we bank on that.
I guess my other Michigan story, the day after that, my cousins and I trekked down to 16 Mile to check out White Castle.
Wow.
So this was a couple of years after Harold and Kumar, and we don't have White Castles here in Canada. So we just watched the movie and we're like, man, we need to try out this White Castle stuff. And we finally did, and...
It's a mistake.
It is...
Yeah, I'm guilty of that as well. I've been to White Castle.
It is possibly the worst fast food I've ever had in my life.
Yeah, that's a good review.
It's not even like real meat.
No!
It's really not. I don't know what it is.
It's just, I think it's just fiber.
Yeah, straight up.
Yeah.
It's a nutrient-enriched, like, cardboard.
Oh.
Yeah. Nutrient-enriched cardboard fiber in a hamburger shape. A slider shape, actually.
Like,
yeah, it's square, you know.
I wasn't expecting the most delicious thing ever, but, like, I have never had fast food that gross in my life. There's nothing in this country even close to White Castle.
Yeah. See, you weren't expecting anything like good, yet you were still really disappointed. That's bad.
Yeah.
So, Jason, what's going on in your hood if you cannot see the CN Tower?
I don't know. Nothing's really happening now. Everyone's back in school.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing really happens. Because where I'm from, we're in Indiana, right on the border of Michigan, and we're pretty much like a tourist town. So once summer's done and no one's buying anything, there's really nothing to really do. So then we just play games, and that's fun.
Did you have...
What kind of games do you play?
Of the video variety, and then my family is really into board games. So we play quite a lot. Oops, I moved that. What's that?
Favorite board game?
Oh man.
Or do you have an Old Faithful go-to?
I mean, I remember growing up, one of my favorites was always Clue. Was a fan of Clue. Mm-hmm. And, you can't go wrong with Monopoly. So I gotta give it to Monopoly.
Though Monopoly takes a really long time to sit down and play.
And
Monopoly.
Yeah. And no one knows how to play Monopoly properly. Everyone just has crazy house rules.
There's house rules. Yeah. And my house rules are right. Your house rules are wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how it always goes.
Just to throw in a non-disgusting plug, Splitkick actually is expanded into covering board games. So...
Really?
Oh, right.
Yeah.
You should start with Monopoly Street Fighter.
I don't have that one. I actually have Nintendo Monopoly Sealed sitting right in front of my desk right now.
Nice. Yeah, I really don't understand why people buy more than one Monopoly, but I guess it's a collector's thing.
I guess.
So
I got it for Christmas from my girlfriend's mom.
Yeah, it's cool,
it's nice.
But I don't know, just
Are you doing any of those reviews yet?
No. I am not.
I was going to say, because you've already got the Nintendo Monopoly.
I do have the Nintendo Monopoly.
You could review it.
I have some Cards Against Humanity, and I have a sealed box of Dominion here. Have any of you guys played Dominion at all?
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, that is a great card game. The thing is, there's only one other couple that they introduced us to Dominion, and they're the only people that Steph and I can play with, and no one else wants to give this game a shot because it looks way too nerdy.
Yeah, and honestly, it is way too nerdy.
I'll be honest,
it's fun.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
It is a lot of fun. Didn't you have an anniversary recently, Jason? Not that
I did. Yeah.
TMZ reports that...
TMZ. Yeah, my girlfriend and I, Laura and I, just had our 3-year anniversary. But unfortunately, I'm here in Indiana, she went back home to California.
Aww.
So we had to kind of be apart. But I'll see her next week for some stuff. Anyways, we got our anniversary gifts. And, I sent her flowers and some, stuffed animals and stuff like that. And, she sent me this box full of, Amazon goodies. And, I'm super excited because, I am a huge Mega Man fan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And, she sent me, it's kind of hard to find. It's, the first issue of the, Mega Man manga, the Japanese, comic from, I don't even know when it's from, 1990s. It's a hard one to find. So, I can't believe I finally got the first one. I'm looking at it now. So that's exciting. And then, the newest, Archie comics, they have a ongoing series of Mega Man. So she sent me the third one because I already read the first 2. But then, I'm most excited about this, Mega Man Robot Master Field Guide, which,
Really?
on my blog, I wrote a post about, every Robot Master in the game and, what game they came from and all that. And this book is essentially everything that I did for that, but it's in a much nicer form. And it's actually cool because it's an alphabetical order. It's from the first 10, original Mega Man games.
Yeah.
And you flip to the page and it's, each page is dedicated to a robot master. So here I'm looking at Elecman and it shows the model number, who made him, his game sprite, information about him, what Mega Man looks like when he uses the weapon, what that character's weakness is if you're playing the game, you can reference it. It is total nerd fest, but I am ecstatic to look at
That's
this.
awesome.
That is awesome.
I am so happy that this exists, and I now own it.
I am super jealous of you.
You should be. It's amazing. And the MSRP on the back is $15 or $14.
Mm-hmm.
So it's cheap. And it looks like it's 150 pages, all full color. It's not bad.
Huge. Yeah, for sure.
Who's your favorite Mega Man boss?
My favorite, I was always a fan of Snake Man from Mega Man 3.
Okay.
So I started out with 3. But I think the coolest one is, I don't know, it's probably Pharaoh Man or someone. Someone that's just totally badass. So I like
I would have to go with someone from Mega Man 2, because that is one of my all-time favorite games.
Quick Man? No.
Yeah, Quick Man was good.
I think I would have to go with
So
Metal
good.
Man.
Metal Man is one of the best like in the entire game just because his weapon is so broken when you get it. Because it's the only weapon in the entire like original series that shoots in 4 directions.
Yeah, for sure.
And
yeah, it's amazing.
Metal Man dies to the metal shots in 1 hit.
Yeah, 1 or 2 hits. Isn't that ridiculous? Kind of a pushover. But yeah.
I think I'm going to go with probably Fireman.
Yeah, from the first one?
Yeah.
He's cool.
Yeah.
I have this like poster that like lists, it shows all of them. I'm trying to look at it now, see if anyone actually sticks out as being cool.
I just like Fireman because he's like a pretty good boss, but also because he has that hat with the flames coming out of the top of it.
Yeah, like yeah.
Looks almost like the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah, it does actually.
Except
There's a little
flame.
torch. You're right. I was always a fan of Cutman from the very first game, but I was a fan of him from the kind of bad cartoon series because I don't know if you've seen it, but he has the most ridiculous voice. Like the guy that voiced him is so nasally, but it totally fits the character, and so like you kind of gotta love him because he's so bad.
Is it as bad as PlayStation 1 Dr. Wywee?
Oh, no, that's just bad. This is like awesomely bad.
Okay.
And it fits the character. Like people like it, so it works out. But I don't know. So old now. I mean, Mega Man's I think it's 25th anniversary already. So it's he's getting up there.
25 years, holy cow!
Yeah. If not, it's probably more than that, to be honest.
Quite a while.
Yeah, Street Fighter's 25 years old as well.
I know.
They've got that big box set coming.
I know.
I've got
Street Fighter Mega Man released in the same year?
Mega Man, I want to say Mega Man 3 was 87, because I remember it was the same year I was born, but I think Mega Man, it was like 1986, something like that, I don't know, something like that. I'm not sure about Street Fighter, I mean, definitely not Street Fighter 2.
No, for sure.
That was a 90s jam. So let's fast forward a bit, talk about some modern games. Matt, what are you playing?
My life has been taken over by NHL 13 right now.
Ooh.
Yeah, so I always say every year that they aren't going to improve anything enough for me to buy another NHL 13 or another NHL game, and then every year I end up buying it anyway because
there you
it's out and I buy it.
And it's a Canadian thing to do.
It is,
pretty sure
but also I have no willpower.
I'm pretty sure NHL is like always one of the top 10 best-selling games of the year in Canada just because of how big the sport is. It is our Madden, basically.
Madden's huge.
But here's the thing. When you get into a game like NHL and you start playing online and, you want to continue playing online, you're kind of sort of forced to buy the new one when it comes out because, I mean, once 13 comes out, you can't really play 12 online anymore because everybody's playing 13.
Yeah.
And, especially you can't play 10 online or 11 online anymore because they're pretty much, in the bargain bin. So you're sort of almost forced to buy the new game every year, which kind of sucks, but I don't know if they sort of put enough into the new games as far as overhauls on controls or specific changes that warrant a new game every year. They still put them out and you still got to buy them, so.
Yeah.
Does anything in particular stand out in this year's version from last year?
Yeah, I mean, like I play online a lot. My brother plays online a lot. And the one thing that we're kind of upset about in pretty much all of them up until now, is there's a lot of sort of, I wouldn't say glitches, but really easy ways to score and things online that people take advantage of. Namely, sort of lapses in AI that once you kind of find out what they are, you can just use them over and over again. So specifically, going in on a 2-on-0 or 2-on-1 and passing across the crease, the goalie doesn't react in time. And the AI on the defense is really, really bad, or at least it was in 12. And you could pretty much score every time on that. There's a couple other ones like wraparound goals that pretty much work, 9 times out of 10. There's some drag shots that work as well. They seem to have fixed the goalies. The reaction time is actually really good. It's almost too good, I want to say. They're making some pretty crazy saves. If you go on YouTube right now, you can Google something called NHL 13 Spider-Man goalies.
Okay.
And it's basically what it sounds like. The goalies are making ridiculous saves. I mean, they're sliding across. They're taking, 3, 4, 5 full seconds to put their blocker up on the initial shot. And then on the rebound, it's in hyperspeed. He dives across the other end, sticks his glove up and stops the puck. And he throws his stick and stops the puck and then does a handstand and really things you wouldn't normally see a goalie do in the NHL. I mean, once in a while you would, but they've also increased the AI on the defensemen, so you're not going to get as many open passes and especially cross-crease passes. The defensemen are going to break them up a lot more, which is a really welcome change, especially when, you're playing online and you've got guys that will exploit all those things. Kind of takes the fun out of it. But yeah, so far so good. I mean, they've kind of fixed most of the problems that I had with the last few years' iterations. So I'm looking forward to playing it a bit more. I haven't played as much as I wanted to lately. It only came out yesterday, so I've only put a couple hours into it, but so far so good. It's pretty good.
Yeah, the last NHL game I played was NHL 11, which Steph got with her PlayStation 3 for free, and she doesn't play hockey, so she was like, here, you have it. And I played a couple of hours of it. It was pretty fun, but really my hockey video game roots all start with NHL 94 and pretty much end there, with the exception of Wayne Gretzky's 3D hockey.
Yeah, that's
Nice.
what I started with.
Yeah, and
Or Brett Hall hockey on the Super Nintendo.
I did not play that one.
I have not heard of
No,
that
is
one.
that the Nintendo-made one when they were doing sports games?
Yeah, it was. I think it was Nintendo. It was a real, the first kind of attempt at 3D hockey.
Was it like the Mode
was really
7
confusing.
hockey thing?
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure. I just remember it was really confusing because every time you get the puck, the camera would have
Spin?
to turn around and spin to your perspective. So you'd get the puck, and then all of a sudden you have absolutely no idea where you were.
Yeah, I remember
So-
playing the NCAA game from Nintendo back in the day, and I would always pick North Carolina, and there was some guy named Davidson who was just a god at shooting three-pointers. And so it would just pass the ball to him, and he would score like 90 points a game, and that was how I played that game.
Nicely done.
It's the press A to win.
Absolutely.
I wonder what Davidson's doing now.
Yeah, I wonder, because I was sort of following basketball back then, but I don't even know what his first name is. I just remember it's Davidson. And the only other player I know on a last name basis but don't really know anything about in real life is Valdivia, who is on the FIFA iPhone game that I bought randomly
Nice.
a couple of years ago. And so I picked Chile because Steph is half Chilean, and there's just this one dude who scores every time. And so I just pass him the ball and play the exact same way.
So wait, Davidson was in the NHL game?
The NCAA basketball game.
Oh, the NCAA basketball. Do you think he goes around nowadays and he's like, hey man, what's up? I was really overpowered in NCAA. For,
Yeah.
Nintendo."
I bet Bo Jackson brags about his
That's exactly what I was
Tecmo
thinking.
stats all the time.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I would. If I was an overpowered character in some obsolete NCAA basketball game back in the
Totally.
day, that'd be my claim. I'd make business cards. That'd be my claim to fame.
Matt Langford, like, scoring 99.
75 points per game.
Are you scared
Like
for
it.
the NHL and the possible lockout?
Yeah, but I mean, I don't even know if it's going to happen, to be honest. I mean, they always kind of do this. They go right down to the wire. The last lockout was in, I think, 94 or 95, 2004, 2005, I can't remember. Which, coincidentally, the year before that was the last time the Leafs were even in the playoffs. So, it's going to suck if there's no NHL season. But I guess what kind of angers me is, these guys are making so much money to begin with, and
Yeah.
to argue over getting, 25 million or 29 million a year or something like that. These guys don't exactly make pennies, right?
Mhm.
So it's for the fans. And, if you're not going to play hockey, they're not suffering. They're going to go off the ice and, still have all their money and be able to do whatever they want to do. It's the fans that suffer, right? So, get a deal and get on with it.
Well put. Couldn't agree more.
Because they're only hurting the fans.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's true.
they're not hurting at all. And the union's not hurting. The NHL's certainly not hurting. So, I mean, I guess
Yeah.
they'll hurt if there's no numbers or whatever, but I don't know. It's something I think shouldn't happen. Definitely not for, a sport with such a big following.
Anything else you're
True.
playing now?
I don't actually have the thing up in front of me.
I
think I put something there.
Breaking the fourth
But I'm not
wall.
100%
You still have Final Fantasy VII on the Vita.
Yes,
Yeah.
I am playing Final Fantasy VII on the Vita. Well, I should say I'm playing it again on the Vita. I've played it. This will be, I think, my 7th or 8th
Oh my
time
God.
Oh
playing
my
it.
lord.
Yeah, I'm definitely a big Final Fantasy VII fan. Final Fantasy VII, Final Fantasy VIII. Those are my two games.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's decent. It's a little weird playing it on such a small screen. You'd think that because the graphics were kind of dated, having it on a smaller screen would be a little bit better, but I don't know. It's weird. And the thing is, it's not native to the Vita screen size. So you have to stretch it, and you have these weird options, none of which really sort of are the right one.
Mm-hmm.
It starts in kind of a 4:3 mode, and then you can stretch it to a widescreen mode, which stretches it really wide, so the characters are kind of fatter, and then you can stretch it to this zoom mode, which cuts off basically, about a centimeter of the entire screen all around, which doesn't really work either, especially when you're looking for things or trying to find, things lying around or whatnot. So it doesn't really work. I don't know. It's
Yeah.
kind of weird.
Strange
game
you wouldn't have
itself is
something
pretty
that fits, like, right off the bat.
Yeah, I mean, everybody kind of wants a Final Fantasy VII remake, which would be good, but the port on the Vita, I don't know, it's weird, because it's 4:3, so it doesn't really work. but good game nonetheless. I mean, if something, if you're a big Final Fantasy VII fan, you want it on the go, get it.
Cool. How about Lightning Returns Final Fantasy 13?
To be honest, I've never played any of the Final Fantasies after 11.
Wow. Yeah. I've only played 12. I didn't beat it, and I never attempted 13, so I can't really get really excited for it because I don't really know what it's all about.
All right.
But are you a fan of the traditional Final Fantasy games, Jay?
I am. Yes, I'm very much into the 1 through 6.
Yeah,
era.
okay, so am I. And the thing is that I find, especially with 11, 12, 13, is it doesn't feel like Final Fantasy anymore.
Not quite. Yeah, it's.
You know what I mean?
And like with the exception of 10, I think everything past like 6 or everything past 9, like kind of got away from what Final Fantasy was.
Yeah.
So
I think even 10.
Yeah,
10 was kind of getting off track as well. I played 10, but
10's the transition.
Yeah.
But I'm surprised that Matt, you would say you're a fan of 1 through 6, but you didn't like 9.
No, I did. I did like 9 with Zidane and yeah, those guys.
Okay. Well, I know you just mentioned 7 and 8 being some of your favorites, just because 9 is such a throwback. I think that's why I liked it so much.
I did like 9. I didn't. I can't remember if I actually got through the entire game.
Mm-hmm.
I remember playing it on a break of some sort. I don't remember where it was, but
yeah.
I do. And I had that card game in it so
Tetramaster. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I definitely did like 9. But I think I played 7 and 8 so many times they kind of stick out.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I guess 7 and 8 are a bit more memorable because I would, even though 9's probably my favorite, maybe even overall of all of them, I think it's probably the least like memorable and liked of the PS1 Final Fantasies.
Yeah, which is a shame because it actually is a really good game.
It's great. I love it. So.
What about you, Jad? Are you a Final Fantasy fan?
No, I am not.
Blasphemy.
As you guys will come to find out as we continue doing these episodes, I have some really weird gaps in my gaming experience / knowledge where I just don't know anything about something. So I've not played Final Fantasy at all. Any of them?
Any of them ever?
Any of them ever.
Oh, I can't imagine
you haven't even like
like.
dabbled in like one of them for an hour?
No.
Wow. That's an impressive feat in and of itself.
Yeah, there should be an achievement for that.
Life achievement.
Yeah.
Yeah, JRPGs didn't really interest me outside of Super Mario RPG, which I thought was fantastic.
Yeah.
So it was that one I played. I mean, Legend of Zelda doesn't really count. I play some of those. And I really loved Illusion of Gaia. I don't know if you guys played that on the Super Nintendo at all.
Yeah.
That game is...
It's a Square game.
Yeah, that game is fantastic.
Sounds familiar.
I mean, that's essentially like action RPG Final Fantasy. Pretty much. Some people are probably going to hate me for saying it, but that's kind of what it's like. I
guess it was just the whole like turn-based combat thing.
Yeah.
And level grinding just didn't really seem like my thing at the time. And I guess if you don't like that, then you don't like the game. That's all it is. And I think at this point it would be so hard for me to try and catch up on all of the different games in the series, and then all of them are super long.
Yeah.
And like for even games that I do like, and I hear it's like 20 hours to beat, I just kind of go like, well, I'm going to put that to the back of the pile when I actually have the time. I'll go play
20 hours
shorter
is,
game
I
instead.
would say, modest.
Final Fantasy, like none of them are really sequential, but I think there is benefits from playing them in order, just because you see like the evolution of the series. Mm-hmm. And like honestly, Jet, if you started with 1, like 1's really good. Even still, it holds up pretty well today.
Okay.
Like you can see the roots, and it's a good story. It's fun.
I know that
it's friggin' hard too.
And they've remade 1 and they've remade 2 as well.
A gajillion times. I know they're on iOS. And
you can pay $20 and play it now.
Play it on my upcoming iPhone 5.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Are you guys big iPhone guys?
I have a 3GS because I got it a few years ago, and I'm not one to buy a new one just because it came out. So I will buy a new phone when my 3GS bites the dust.
Wow,
and that's been 3 years now, held up pretty well.
Matt, you?
I have an iPhone 4.
Okay,
not the 4S, just the regular old 4. I was really excited. They did their release today, the press conference.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it was pretty disappointing, to be honest.
Really? I thought it sounded kind of cool.
Well, go ahead, Chet.
I would have to agree. I was very much looking forward to this one after the disappointment of the 4S. Like, okay, the 5 is going to be where they make the big jump. And I don't think that was it.
Yeah, no, I know. I completely agree.
I kind of feel like now that my brother and my mom have Samsung Galaxy S3s, and I've played with that phone quite a bit, and It is a pretty sweet piece of hardware. And I kind of feel like the iPhone 5 is just like, well, we kind of caught up to that now, but didn't really do anything to go past that. So it just kind of feels like they're catching up rather than leading the way as they usually have.
And it's a really odd feeling to have that sort of empathy for Apple. Because they're normally pretty much on top of everything. But no, I completely agree with you. I think that it felt very... well, and you sort of kind of have to attribute it as well to the fact that it isn't Steve Jobs presenting it.
True.
Right. Steve Jobs had this way of kind of, he could sell you pretty much anything. And literally, it's not even, he could just get on stage and they could be like, oh, we're going to sell you the iPhone 4S2, and it would be the best gadget ever made in the history of all gadgets. And, the press conference would be 2 hours and everybody would just be, clapping and crying and, oh my God, it's the most amazing gadget ever. And, the only thing it incorporates is, a bigger home button or something. But, Tim Cook, I don't know, he doesn't have the flair. And I really think that combined with the fact that, aside from the faster processor speed and the camera, which are standard standard fare for upgrades. That's kind of, you expect that. It's not really, something that you're blown away by hearing. But that's kind of all we heard. They just upped the speed, upped some of the specs and the processor, and didn't really, all the iOS 6 stuff, the Siri upgrade and the Maps upgrade and whatnot, we've heard all that stuff before. They did that in the iOS 6 announcement. So it was kind of, and I don't know what the hell they did to the iPods and the iPod Nanos and stuff. They're terrible looking.
Oh, the little squares?
Yeah, except now they have all the round buttons on them. They look like Skittles.
Oh, really?
Oh, it's strange, man. You need to pull up a picture of it. I'm not sure if it was it's the iPod Nano, that's what it is. And it's very interesting looking. You look at it, and if you didn't know it was an Apple product, you wouldn't know.
Random candy question about the States. Do they have Skittles in the States?
Oh, yeah, of course. Skittles are great.
Okay. It's Smarties, that was it. Because Smarties in the States is not the same as Smarties in Canada, I'm pretty sure.
We have Smarties. They're like those tart
Yeah, see,
things.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
No, ours are chocolate.
So yeah, Smarties in the...
Oh, wow.
Your Smarties in the States are the equivalent of our Rockets.
Rockets.
I don't really?
know
Yes.
what that is.
That's what they are in the States.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of
Smarties are basically Canadian M&Ms.
Interesting. Yeah, no, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Wait,
Yeah, because basically M&Ms and Smarties are the same thing.
Yeah.
Weird.
There you go. Some canned knowledge for you.
That's cool.
Yeah, how popular
keep
are
that in mind.
U.S. Smarties among the kids? Because, in Canada, that's like grandpa candy. You go to others' house and they just have a bowl of that with the Werthers.
Okay, wait, so Smarties in Canada are chocolate.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Well, Smarties here,
Well,
my mom and dad like
on.
them, but...
we're getting mixed up here. Rockets. Your Smarties are Rockets.
Okay, yeah.
Are old
okay, the
people
little,
candy
yes. The tart, chalky things. I don't like them. A lot of my friends don't like them, so I guess they're okay in popularity. But you say your Smarties are like M&Ms? Is that right?
Yes.
Chocolate? Everyone loves M&Ms, so those are pretty popular.
You could totally trick all your U.S. friends. Be like, hey, man, you guys want some Smarties? And then give them that. They'll be like, no, these are M&Ms. What did you do?
And I'd be like, they're Canadian Smarties.
I can't crush these up and pretend to smoke these.
Yeah. That's what us Americans do. Sad.
I don't even remember where we were at before we just went on that crazy digression.
Just our dissatisfaction with the iPhone.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. iPhone. And Final Fantasy.
Final Fantasy, iPhone. I don't know. Yeah, it just kind of threw me. I was sitting there watching it not watching it, listening to it. But, nothing really was that exciting. And definitely nothing was surprising. And I found myself actually anticipating this press conference. And I was, just really let down. Didn't really do anything for me at all.
Bummer.
Now, that being said, I'm still probably going to run out and buy an iPhone 5.
Throw it all out the window, buy it.
Yeah. But, it's longer, which is another weird thing.
Yeah, I didn't necessarily want it to be longer.
But it's weird. They didn't change. It's thinner and longer. Of all the ways you could redesign the shape of a phone, thinner and longer doesn't really necessarily strike me as the first way I do it.
Yeah, I don't agree either.
It kind of looks awkward. I don't know. They put an extra row of icons in it.
Yay!
And movies are now true 16:9 because the screen's bigger. But it seems like it's going to be awkward to hold. Right now, my iPhone's perfect. And you guys have iPhones as well?
Yes.
Yes.
So, so it's good. It's good in your hand. It feels good. But if it's, put another centimeter or so on top of it, half an inch on top of it, it's going to be weird. I don't know. For lack of a better word. That's what I think.
No, people got used to and accustomed to the regular shapes, now it's going to throw them off.
Yeah.
Jason, did you play anything that wasn't soul-crushingly disappointing?
Yes. This past week, I just started playing Double Dragon Neon on the Xbox.
Amazing.
And I was just playing last night because it just came out, and my initial impressions are actually pretty high. Because
Really?
I was thinking from the screenshots that it looked nothing like the original Double Dragon, which is true, it doesn't. And then my hopes were a little low because it just seemed like it was going to be a bad retranslation of the old stuff. But really, the guys that did it were way forward, and they have recently remade a lot of other games. I know they did Contra and one more game from the past that they're bringing back. And
they've done Shantae, Blood Rain.
Blood Rain, that's the one I'm thinking of. And I wasn't the biggest fan of Blood Rain, but their remake was really good. But anyways, this game really seems to capture everything about Double Dragon that made it cool. And
awesome.
At the same time, they made this game insanely cheesy and campy. And I think it is even implied in the name with Double Dragon Neon, just because everything just screams the 80s. So, all the levels are they're big and bright, but they're all in pastel colors. And when enemies come on screen for the first time, it flashes their name in this horrible 80s font. And it's so bad. And the enemies will say things when they get killed, and it's just really, really funny. And it feels like they were trying to go for a campy feeling mood, and they really hammer it down and they get it right. So for what they're going for, if you're not a fan of that, then you won't like it. But if you are open to that feeling, it's really fun.
Is it still Billy and Jimmy?
It's still Billy and Jimmy, and there's a big emphasis on co-op, because you can now high-five each other. And if you, it's funny because you flick the right stick, and I assume it's the right control stick on the PS3, and your character will say something like, "High five me, bro," and he'll stand there. And if your other player goes up and hits the flick 2, you high five. And high fives are cool because you can either high five to share health, you can high five to increase damage, or you can low five and take health from your partner. And you don't know what the high five is when you throw it up. So if you say I flick it down and I'm going to do a low five and take your health, my guy will still say high five me. And if you do it, then I'll take your life. And it's just kind of a fun element that I add in there. And that's cool. But the biggest change, besides it being a totally new game, it's not a remake really, is they added in sort of RPG-like elements where you can collect tapes, cassette tapes, and you can equip one magical tape and one sort of stat boosting tape, and you level those up, and they increase your stats or they give you special powers. So,
cool.
For example, you can use basically it's a hurricane kick from Street Fighter where you fly up in the air and kick around. You can do that, or you can throw a fireball, or you can summon a big old dragon to kill everything on the screen.
Nice.
So it adds that sort of customizability, and you can choose what you want, and then it's a crazy amount of replay value because if you wanted to get everything, there's 10 superpowers and superpower tapes, and there's 10 stat boosting tapes, but those can be leveled up 50 times.
Wow.
And you level them up by finding the tape again or buying them at shops. And it's pretty crazy how high you can get some of these things. But enemies scale with you throughout the game, and there's 3 difficulties. They're apparently patching in online multiplayer, which in my opinion should have been there to begin with.
Yeah, seriously.
But you can still co-op on one screen, drop in, drop out, and it's good. I recommend it so far. I plan on beating it tonight, at least one difficulty, and we'll see how it goes. I'll let you know how it is next week.
Good stuff.
But yeah, right now it gets Jason's seal of approval.
That's going to be a thing, eh? Jason's seal of approval.
Yeah. If we ever get video, they're gonna do a little stamp image, and it's gonna stop and make a nice rock and roll noise.
Like a wailing guitar.
Yeah, that's what I was like. Very fitting towards Double Dragon Neon too.
There you go. I was gonna say, high fives are generally in the 80s accompanied by wailing guitar.
It's funny because I think when you do it, that actually happens.
Amazing.
If I recall, yeah, it's good. It's a game that you have to kind of go in with an open mind because you don't want your childhood nostalgia to be crushed. But if you go in there and just say I want to have fun with this game, you'll have fun with it, and I like it. Oh, and also they basically remixed the entire soundtrack from the first game, and that soundtrack is actually really good. So hearing the songs again is it's a good touch.
That's awesome.
Awesome.
Oh yeah, and then I was so happy they added this. I almost forgot, but in the if you guys played Double Dragon 1 or 2 for the NES?
Some of my favorites.
Yeah, it's classic. Do you remember the stages where there's like a big old pit in the street and enemies can like fall in the pit?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and then do you also remember the level, I know it's in 2, where you're fighting like a helicopter and the door opens?
One of my favorites.
Yeah, so those are all back. And
amazing.
I was so happy. I remember it's either in the Game Boy version of Double Dragon or it's in Double Dragon 2, where you're fighting on one of those helicopters and you fight 2 Abobos. And like if you do it right, you can basically just walk and they will like fall off the stage because they'll like, get sucked out the door. So when that came up, when like I was fighting an Abobo in space and the door opened, I was like, man, I gotta get him out of there. Like I need to like knock him out. And sure enough, he fell out and it was an achievement. I was like, oh god, yes, like this is the greatest achievement they could have put in this game. It was so funny. They did it right.
Awesome.
Pretty much all it needs is like sort of a cameo appearance by Johnny from Karate Kid.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, did you guys ever see that horrible movie? Is it The Wiz or The Wizard?
Yes.
Something like that? The NES one where the guy wants to go to California? Mm-hmm. And you know how he's playing Double Dragon? And then, is it Fred Savage is like,
Fred
you got 50,000 in Double Dragon, which is kind of crazy because you can never get 50,000 points in that game.
Yeah.
Well, now you can get 50,000 points, and that's an achievement too. And that's what it's called, like 50,000. You got 50,000 in Double Dragon.
That's amazing.
Like no one would get it except someone that like played that game in the 90s. Oh, I know.
That's a really nice touch. My expectations for that game were actually really low based on what I had seen, but I know Way Forward is a good developer, and kind of had my fingers crossed for the best. So maybe I will give that a shot.
They handled it well, and it's free right now on PlayStation Plus. So,
that's right, yeah.
Very much worth it if it's free. Just go there and play it and enjoy it.
Yeah, I do have 2 free months worth of PlayStation Plus credits sitting on my desk that I just have not cashed in. Maybe now's the time.
Cash them in. Get some Double Dragon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else you got on your plate there, Jason?
No, I was, I think I might have said last week, I don't know, but I was dabbling in Sam and Max Beyond Time and Space, or Beyond Space and Time for the Wii. Because I grabbed it for a few bucks, and I played the first episode because it's all 5 episodes wrapped in one, and I liked it. It's my first time really playing Sam and Max, so I didn't really know what to expect. But I like the point and click genre. I think it's very, very underrated, and because it's really just a story that they're telling. And if the story's good, then you'll enjoy the game. And Sam and Max's story was okay, but the thing I liked about it most was the humor. It really, really won me over. So have you guys played at all the Sam and Max episodes?
I played a little bit of one that came out on the iPad. I didn't get any more than like 30 minutes in.
Yeah,
I've just seen people play them, heard of them.
Okay, I'm just curious, but I trying to think which one this is. I think it's Sam and Max episode. It's like the second remake, and it's the first episode that I played. But it's like a story about Santa Claus going crazy and like killing elves. But the story starts where this huge robotic toy is like destroying Sam and Max's police headquarters. And the robot, like, every response he gives is an 80s or 90s like pop song. So like the Sam and Max go outside and they're like, you need to you need to stop it. Like, you need to stop it now. And then the robot's like, oh no, I need to whip it good. And like he just like keeps hitting the building. And like you can keep asking him questions and he keeps giving different responses. It was pretty funny, very entertaining.
Basically that.
And it's $5 at GameStop. You can't go wrong with that.
Yeah, for sure. For all 5 episodes?
Yeah, all of them.
That's awesome.
Yeah, steal.
I played a lot of... Did you guys ever hear the game called Indiana Jones and the Fate of Atlantis?
I've heard of it.
It's a kind of a really old, I think it was early 90s point-and-click adventure.
Yeah.
So that was sort of my introduction into the point-and-click genre kind of game.
Yeah. I think I started with Monkey Island was my first.
Monkey Island's really good, too.
Classic.
I think they re-released those on iOS, or they're going to re-release them on iOS.
I know they re-released them in HD and redone on Steam, and that's worth it. It's a good remake.
I played the original ones. I haven't seen the remakes yet, though.
Yeah, you can actually like swap the. I believe you can swap the graphics out for the original ones too.
Oh, that's awesome.
So if you want to play Crazy 8-bit, you can do that.
Cool.
What about you, Jet? What have you been doing?
So there's this game. It's also kind of ninja related, like Double Dragon. Mark of the Ninja, which came out on last Friday, which is a really odd day for Xbox Live because they usually release stuff on, I believe, Wednesdays, right?
Yeah, Wednesday.
Yeah, so Mark of the Ninja, it's a game made by Clay Entertainment. They did Shank, and this game is basically Ninja Gaiden mixed with Batman the Arkham games.
Wow,
So it's a 2D platformer, and the whole game is based on stealth. So you're kind of navigating through these worlds, climbing on ceilings, going through vents, and then hopping down and assassinating people, or just trying to sneak through completely undetected.
Like every good ninja should.
It's 2D though,
2D.
right? Like a side scroller?
Yes.
Nice.
So I just found it really cool to play. I hate stealth games. Cannot stand them. I just find that they're generally like, the reason you're playing stealthy is because you're horribly underpowered and I kind of want to feel like a badass when I play.
Yeah.
And in this one, you totally do. You have all sorts of tricks, gadgets, ways of hiding from your enemies and taking people out. And it was just like really exhilarating to like have this particular scenario and just kind of feel it out rather than there's one particular way to do it. And if I screw this up, then I'm dead. Right. So the levels are designed in a way that give you a lot of different opportunities to approach different things. You can unlock different abilities and power-ups that give you all sorts of different options, and it's all really fun. I love, if you want to be the type of stealth player that just goes through the entire level without engaging anyone, you can do that. I'm kind of clumsy, so I just like to assassinate everyone, get them out of the way, so it would just be like really cool to like hang upside down, and then the guy walks by, and then like assassinate him and hang him up by a rope. I think one of my favorite moments, I was up on a ceiling, and there were 3 guards standing below me, and I had this one weapon that was called like flesh. It was these bugs. You throw them, and they just like eat you alive. So I threw the bugs at the guy. I tried to hit all 3, but the radius was a bit too small. So it only hit the guy in the middle, and as he's totally getting eaten up by the bugs, the 2 other guys freak out, and they just start shooting, and they end up killing each other.
That's pretty cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, so that game is actually super awesome, and I did not know about it at all till the day it came out, and the reviews were super high for it. So I was like, all right, I'll try the demo. And played the demo, loved it, and just powered right through it. So it's about an 8-hour game. And there's a lot of reason to go back through it, because there's New Game Plus, and you can unlock all sorts of different power-ups that kind of change the way you can play the game.
And who made this one, you said?
Clay Entertainment.
Clay Entertainment. What else have they done, do you know?
Shank.
Or?
And N+.
Shank. Right. Oh, pretty cool.
Yeah, super.
I've actually been really impressed with a lot of the sort of up-res 2D side-scrolling games that have come out lately. Like Braid and Treen and all those games.
Yeah.
Really cool. And coming from Nintendo and Super Nintendo and all that, where a lot of the games were side-scrolling, it's actually really neat to play sort of HD versions of these side-scrollers with really fluid graphics, and yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, what I really love is that no one's really done a 2D stealth game quite like this, kind of like those Batman stealth mechanics in a 2D platformer.
Yeah.
And yeah, it feels really fresh, and I love all of the UI choices they made to kind of indicate light and sound and how much the enemies can see you. Like, for instance, if you are going to throw a dart at a light to take it out, it shows kind of like the sound radius of when you take out this light, it's going to make a noise that goes this far, and then you can kind of judge whether or not you want to throw it to take it out so that they can't hear what happened, or maybe you want them to hear it so that they go the other way, and then you sneak up from behind and shank them.
That's awesome.
You're selling me on this game.
They have, cool ways of indicating sound and visuals, and like just one neat little touch. If you're in the dark, you look like the ninja dressed in black, but when you're in light, it's actually blue. And then just little touches like that are really neat to indicate where you are in the world and how everything else relates to each other.
Very cool.
Yeah, so I would definitely recommend at least trying the demo. Other than that, been playing. So there's this hot new fighting game that came out. Tekken Tag Tournament 2. You guys may have heard of this Tekken thing?
Of course.
I've heard of it.
Yeah? I'm not playing that at all. Tekken is not my bag. I actually bought 3 copies of Tekken 6 and don't own any of them anymore. Which is kind of weird.
Why, though? What makes it unacceptable to you?
I've just never been a 3D fighting game guy. I really love the 2D fighting games, and 3D, something about just the way those games work has never clicked for me. I guess that still begs the question, why the heck would I buy 3 copies of a game I don't even like?
Hey, you said it.
So, the limited editions of Tekken were getting marked down, like, super huge, and they both came with fight sticks.
Yeah, they're supposed to be good ones, too.
They were okay. So I bought one for 360 and one for PS3. And the
You
PS
buy 3 more just to have them.
the PS3 one kind of wore out eventually. It was okay. The Xbox one of the buttons died in the first 10 hours.
Oh, man.
really?
I had no interest in those games. I played one of them for like an hour and was like, yeah, I can't get into this, and got rid of it. As for the third copy, a couple of years ago, my coworkers and I got really big into playing fighting games at the office. We have an Xbox 360, and Street Fighter was getting really big. So one of my coworkers, who's like a diehard Tekken fan, was like, "We need to get some Tekken in here, and I'll show you guys how real fighting games play." So I picked up a copy of Tekken 6 for like $10. We played it one time. He destroyed us all, and everyone else was just like, "Yeah, this game sucks. We're never playing this again." And we went back to
He
Street
crushed
Fighter.
all your dreams of playing the game. That's too bad. I mean, I think, in my opinion, I think Tekken is one of the better 3D fighting games out there. Like, better than Virtua Fighter and Dead or Alive.
Yeah, the only
I don't know.
3D fighting game I kind of play is Soul Calibur, but even then I'm just
and Soul
button
Calibur,
mashing, really.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I like Soul Calibur better. No, I think I played more Tekken and I like Tekken more than Soul. Partly because of the ring out feature. I don't like ring outs. But yeah, I don't know. And like Tekken Tag 2 looks great, but I'm just not sold on Tekken right now. I guess because it hasn't done anything for me recently, so I probably won't get it until maybe like Christmas, and even then it's if I get it for a gift.
Yeah, so what I actually... Sorry, Matt. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I've never been a fan of 2D fighting games, 3D fighting games. Not really fighting games in general. I've just never really... Yeah, I know. It's kind of like you and RPGs, right?
Yeah, I know. We none of us are total encyclopedias of video games that play and enjoy everything. That's fine.
We have to rely on each other. That's what it is.
So yeah, what I was leading up to is I've been playing a lot of Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 lately. I don't know what it is about that game that got me back into it. Like, I played a ton of regular Marvel vs. Capcom 3 when that first came out. I think I put in, like, the game clock said, like, 600 hours before I stopped.
Oh my lord.
Oh, wow.
That's not even...
That is incredible.
That's not anywhere close to my Street Fighter time. But anyway, I was really into that game, and then
Apparently.
I went to a tournament last year, T12, and I was really unhappy with how I did in Street Fighter. I did alright in Marvel, wasn't happy in Street Fighter, so I kind of dropped everything and just played Street Fighter Hardcore for a good 6 months, and got a lot better at that instead. And now I'm kind of taking a break from Street Fighter, and coming back into Marvel, it's actually really weird how the game has changed. So...
You mean between 3 and Ultimate?
Yes. And not so much about there's new characters and a couple of new moves. It's just the way people approach the game. So with regular Marvel vs. Capcom 3, it was a very aggressive, in-your-face game where everyone was picking Wolverine and just kind of running at you.
Yeah.
And in Ultimate, I'm finding now that everyone is playing the complete opposite. So they're running back, they're chicken blocking, and just throwing fireballs across the screen and just trying to keep people away. And I don't find that style of play all that interesting.
That's interesting. I mean, I haven't followed fighting games, like, competitively for a while, but I would never think that would be the way they would go.
Yeah, it's just kind of a weird, dramatic shift for that series that's traditionally been very offensive, and for it to now go in this very defensive way is just kind of odd. Though, I guess as people play these games more and more and discover new tricks, then new playstyles emerge, and right now it's just really all about projectiles and zoning. Which kind of sucks for me because my team is all about rushing in, and I have not really put in the time to learn all of the new tricks. So it's just I'm just trying to bully my way through, and it's mixed results.
Interesting. I've yet to play Ultimate, just because at the time I didn't have money to fork over again for the game. But they redid X Factor or something?
Yes, they redid X Factor so that the power boost is consistent across all characters, speed boost is consistent across all characters, and the damage isn't as bad as it used to be. Well, it isn't as good as it used to be, because it was, like, horribly overpowered. Like, I built my team in a way where I could level X Factor 1 Wolverine and take out your entire team in, like, 5 seconds.
Wait, this is Ultimate or Vanilla?
Vanilla.
Okay.
Can't do that anymore, though, so it's kind of cramping my style a little bit.
Yeah, I gotta change.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I have to give it to Capcom a little bit for addressing the issues, because I know people didn't always like that.
Oh, no.
So
people...
Do you think they did a good job, or they did a bad job in changing that?
I think...
Or the overall feel?
Overall, I think it's pretty good. I think that there is still room for people to play aggressively. It's just a lot of people have chosen to play this other way, and that's fine.
What about the pros? How are they approaching it?
Oh man, watching competitive Marvel right now is super exciting because people are finding all sorts of new tricks and team setups and combos all of the time. And because there's so many characters and the combo system is so open, it's just like every time you watch a tournament, someone's got something new.
That's good.
And so it's really interesting to see what happens at these tournaments. Unlike Street Fighter, I love Street Fighter, my favorite fighting game, but like that game is about 4 years old now, and people have figured it out. And with Marvel, it's still wide open as to what can be done.
So basically, it's like one Street Fighter is winning by mastering an already known set of skills, whereas you're rewarded for creating new things with the new game. Yeah.
But I mean, even back to pre-MVC3, like I never felt that Marvel vs. Capcom 2 was as competitive in the same way as like Street Fighter or other fighters. I think it's just the hectic nature of it made it almost too hard for me to play. Maybe I'm just not good at it, but I don't know. And I still feel the same way with 3. Like, I mean, obviously your skills in one game like wouldn't really transfer over to the other one, but I don't know. I think that's maybe why I didn't care for it as much. Maybe I didn't play it as much as I should have, but I didn't feel that MVC3 was as technical as Street Fighter 4. I don't know, Jed, do you think it's the same way? I always felt Street Fighter 4 was a lot more like precision-based gameplay, and you had to look for your one opening and get in, whereas MVC3 seems a bit more chaotic, and if you mess up, it's over.
No, they're just very different. It's hard to compare. It's like vanilla and chocolate. There's still ice cream, but there's just very different ways of approaching that game and different nuances to each.
I mean, I think that's actually a really good way to put it. Like, they really are two almost completely different games.
What I love about Street Fighter is, like, I kind of approach it like it is rock, paper, scissors. And I kind of visualize that game where everything is rock, paper, scissors. It doesn't, like, from the beginning of the match when we're standing, like, kind of half a screen apart and everyone has 2 full life bars. What are you going to do at the start? What am I going to do? And I just kind of look at the game and break down every single situation and kind of play it like rock, paper, scissors. Okay, this person's going to do this, so I will do this instead to kind of counteract that. Marvel is, I think it kind of moves a bit too fast to do that.
Yeah, to say the least.
Like, it definitely happens. You just have to think a lot quicker, and execution is, I think, more important in Marvel, especially because you can kill a character in one combo if you can string it together, as opposed to Street Fighter where you kind of have to take 4 or 5 combos to kill someone, if not more.
Yeah, maybe that's what I didn't like about it. I just couldn't handle it. Fun game, nonetheless.
Yeah, it's great. All right, looking at this outline, I think there's one other thing I wanted to cover before we wrap things up. And I know we didn't talk about this pre-show, so I'm going to kind of catch you guys off guard. I wanted to touch back on something that Jason brought up on the last episode about what it is to be a gamer. And you kind of threw Madden players under the bus, and I called you racist. And
No, it's gamist. He's gamist.
Gamist. Game elitist.
So I kind of wanted to get a little philosophical and just kind of talk about what does it mean to be a gamer, or what does that mean to you, and how it's defined. So, like, I see this conversation crop up on message boards and blogs, and people love classifying themselves as one thing or another thing, and I don't know, I've kind of always viewed the term gamer as just someone who plays computer or video games, and just kind of left it at that. What does it mean to you? Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. Okay, first off, I want to save face. Like, Madden gamers, you're fine, you know, you're good. But I think I was in the same boat as you, Jet. Like, initially, I thought gamers was just blanket term for, like, video game players, you know, PC, console, handheld. Sure. But I guess it's not recent anymore, is it? But maybe, like, upwards to 7 or 8 years ago, like, I started playing a lot more tabletop, like Dungeons and Dragons and stuff like that. And I don't know if we were recording at the time, but I was talking about going to the Gen Con convention, which is all board games and stuff. And I think from going to those, it's kind of enlightened me to what gamer would mean to me. And I personally expand it to, like, all types of gameplay. So video game or tabletop, pen and paper, or even board games. I think I would always classify that as gamer. So if someone told me I'm a gamer, like, I would think any of that. I think it's just from kind of conditioning from going to these other places and seeing how people, thousands and thousands of people, you know, game. It's not just video games. So I think the genre has become so big that video games is now almost just a subgenre of the bigger core of gaming.
All right.
Yeah, I would completely agree with that.
Do you think that, like, game choice matters? Because you were very particular on Madden players and saying that those guys aren't. Is their game like less valid to you than something like a Final Fantasy?
No, I think it's a personal sort of stigma when someone says if they want to identify as a gamer and they only really play like Madden and or like Call of Duty, I'm being gamist in saying that, but I feel like that person is almost like in the bandwagon where they're playing it and they might be playing it because they enjoy it, but they're only playing it maybe because they know it's popular. It'd be kind of like, how can I relate it to like Canadian sports? Maybe if like, if one like hockey team, if one hockey team or baseball team are doing really well, then everyone starts to like them.
Mm-hmm.
You're like jumping on the bandwagon and you're like a fair weather fan where you only like them when they're popular or doing well. I kind of feel like that's what's going on with the Maddens and those games like that, where like to me, like to be a true gamer, let's say a true video gamer, like, yeah, you would play those and then you might be like, well, I want to try, I don't know, let's try like Tiger Woods golf. Oh, I didn't like golf. I wonder if I like a racing game. And like you would keep kind of trying. And I think that's where gamer sort of starts for me, is that person that appreciates and wants to play and has a general passion for all types of games, not just one or two.
Okay.
I agree.
And I don't know. That's
you don't necessarily have to have
I think, yeah.
No, go ahead.
I think that sort of feeling for me just kind of started from knowing that no one really played games except video game like hardcore players, and then the onset of maybe Xbox Live kind of made this new sort of subgroup of video game player that maybe I felt like someone was taking away from me, where I kind of, I don't know, had my childhood like embedded, like this was my thing, and now I don't know, like I don't want to be class, like, because I guess you can almost think when someone says, oh, I'm a gamer, it might have a bad connotation to someone else, like, oh, they're those kids that play games and kill each other, and then they kill each other in real life. And like, I don't want that. And I feel like someone saying gamer that doesn't have the full, feeling of what it means to play games and play a variety might be hurting that term.
Yeah, I actually read an article online not that long ago saying that the term gamer now is becoming more and more of a broad term, even including people that play only, iOS and phone games.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, casual. Yeah, there you go.
Like Angry Birds. Someone that plays only Angry Birds on their phone, are they a gamer? You know what I mean? Like, it's a game, and they enjoy it. They might play 5, 6, 10 other games. So does that qualify them as a gamer? I mean, I guess it does, but
yeah.
It almost seems like a cop-out. Like, I mean, people like us who've been playing video games all our lives, I think we have a different sort of acceptance of what a gamer is.
Okay.
Our view on what a gamer is, I think, is different than, somebody that plays iOS games and calls himself a gamer. I don't know. You don't necessarily have to have like an encyclopedic knowledge of video games.
No,
to
definitely
not.
not.
Gamer. But I think it depends on who's calling you a gamer or the crowd you're calling yourself a gamer in front of.
Well, I guess, sorry, Jed, I know.
No worries.
I guess, maybe what I'm thinking of with the whole Madden thing is like saying that you're a gamer when you really probably mean you're a Madden player, or like, I am a fan of Madden, or a fan of Call of Duty. Maybe that's where, I guess, actually, I feel a lot more comfortable saying that. Like, I think that's sort of what I'm getting at with that statement. So, it like, I wouldn't say I'm really a football fan, like we were talking about earlier, but I would say I'm a Bears fan, because I like to watch the Bears. I don't really watch other people, I don't really care about them, but when the Bears are on, I'll be like, oh yeah, they're cool. And so I watch them. So I wouldn't say I'm a fan of football, I'm a fan of the Bears. So, I guess analogy.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, analogy over to video games.
Yep.
I find it interesting that, like, I mean, not just you guys, I think that's kind of a common consensus among, I guess, the term we'll use, gamists, is just like, we are very protective of that term, gamer, and it means a whole lot to identify yourself as a gamer, and you kind of don't want to be labeled the same as the 49-year-old lady who is the best Bejeweled Blitz player in the world, but it's just Bejeweled Blitz. But then,
or the world champion Farmville player.
Yeah. But I guess it's just kind of weird semantics, and I don't know how much it's worth fighting for that particular label.
Yeah.
And I think, because, like, one of the examples I always think of, like, when we have when this discussion comes up is, Gutex, who is one of the most recognizable fighting game community members / players. And kind of his story, he's recognized as one of the best fighting game Street Fighter players in the world. But his kind of story is he didn't play video games at all until he discovered Third Strike. And after that, fighting games are the only games he ever plays, and he does not give a crap about anything else.
That game will do that to you.
And is he a gamer? I guess. But he plays a game that game-mists would consider cool, but he doesn't play anything else. Does that disqualify? Does that make him any less of a gamer than anyone else?
I think there should just be two definitions of gamer. I think there should be gamer meaning, I play games, or I've played a game, or I enjoy playing a certain game. And I think there should be gamer meaning, I've invested a lot of my time and a lot of my life into the actual gaming culture.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's a gamer. It's such a vague term.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think you're onto something though, Matt. I think two definitions is the way to go, just because it's so broad. Because gamer is super broad, and I think by maybe our definitions, or I know at least mine, I'm trying to get it more specific to one or two. You need to do this to be a gamer, but maybe it's I don't know. It's just maybe that's what it was, and now with current stuff, it's changed. So maybe two terms is the way to go.
How about going the complete other way and just saying, well, it's gamer and it describes everyone?
I think that's the most, logical way to go about it. The most utilitarian way to do it, but the most good from that one.
If you could have your way, and you were the one that wrote the 10 commandments of being a gamer, what is on that list? You don't have to give me 10. Just a couple of things that would say you are a gamer by definition if you meet the following.
I guess offhand, I would initially say you have to play games.
Okay,
that has to be one. But let's just focus on video games. We'll say board games and stuff for another talk.
Sure.
But I would say, I don't know. I want it to be I guess I want people to enjoy more than one type. So I would almost want it to be you need to play a variety of games, not just one type to be classified a gamer. But I know that's not really how it is, and that's not how it should be. So I think really it's just one who plays games. What do you think, Matt?
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Again, we're dealing with such a vague term to begin with, so it's difficult. But if we're hypothesizing this 10 commandment list of what it takes to be a gamer, or the criteria you have to meet to be a gamer, I would say, just from my own experience, that one of my rules would be that you'd have to have played or at least put the time into a game that took you longer than maybe 40 hours.
Wow.
Yeah, maybe
like a hardcore RPG or some sort of even a fighting game or something like that. You have to have played or invested time into something like that, something significant.
You have to be passionate about something.
Yeah. Like a Final Fantasy title or something that isn't just a sit down, pick up the controller, play it for an hour and put it down kind of thing. Something that you would invest a whole weekend in or a whole week or something because you're that interested in it or something like that.
Jet?
Would you include the purchasing of stuff that defines you as a gamer? Would I be a gamer if I liked video games but I don't own anything? I don't have my own console, I don't have anything to play it on, I just go to...
No.
Okay.
You don't think so? I think so.
Really?
Yeah. I think I'm thinking of maybe my nephew or someone who's younger who only has a Wii and a DS, which I guess it's not only, that's a nice collection, but if he didn't, what's that?
Chat, were you saying that they don't own any system at all? Yeah, so what I'm saying is if I go up to you and you say, oh, who's this guy? And I go, oh, I'm a gamer. Mm-hmm. And then you say, well, what systems do you own? And I say, well, I don't own any systems.
I don't know. I think someone could go to someone's house and play. I don't know. It's all circumstantial in my mind, but yeah, I think you still could be. Why not? You could be passionate. Say someone doesn't have games to play, but they really they still like the idea of games. They might look them up online or talk about them to people and get that knowledge. They haven't experienced it, but I would still say they could do it. And I would still, consider them.
If I was Joe Blow, 40-year-old at the bar, and I don't own any video game consoles or systems, but I really like playing Golden Tee and Deer Hunter that happen to be at the bar, am I a gamer?
I would.
You are a hunter with a different medium.
Yeah, I would probably say no.
Are there any games that you would consider you have to play this in order to qualify as being a gamer? I know we're getting a little specific here, but this is Matt Land / Jason Land. You can pick whatever rules you want to define what it is to be a gamer.
I gotta
Matt,
go
you want to start?
Super Mario.
Yeah.
I think I was just gonna say. It's kind of where I got my start, where a lot of people I know got their start. The controls are simple, not many buttons. It's just a I guess for me it's more nostalgic, so maybe it's not the best choice, but I don't know. I find...
Does it have to be NES Super Mario?
No, I would say like Super Mario 3.
Okay. Because
I enjoyed Super Mario 3.
Yeah. I have a lot of younger cousins growing up, and like for me, the thing that started this whole madness into video games was the original Super Mario Brothers. But as my cousins have grown up, and they were born after that time period, almost all of their first major games were Mario games, but it was all the newer stuff. So it'd be like the new Super Mario Bros. On DS and that type of stuff.
I don't think there's one game that you have to play. But I think that if you're a passionate person who plays games, that you will, like, at some point you will find your way to these games that probably should be played. But you don't necessarily have to be a gamer. So if you're someone that plays, like, Nintendo games, you will find Mario. And if you're someone that, like, you know, really plays a lot of Nintendo games, eventually you will find Sonic. And, like, you'll be like, oh, Sega Genesis, like, what is this about? And then you'll, like, expand out. So I don't think you necessarily need to start anywhere, or there's something you need to play. There's just games that you probably should.
How much of the community element is involved in being a gamer? Like sharing your experiences with friends, or going on message boards, or starting up a blog, or writing about games like we do?
I think it's all subjective. I think it's, if you want to do it, that's cool, and there are outlets for you to do that, and that's what makes game writing, like, pretty neat, because you can do it whenever, and there's always people that feel the same way as you, and people that will disagree with you, which I think is kind of, you know, you can point to this conversation we're having right now, where, you know, you can't really pin it down. So I think that the community, it's just, if you want to, it's there, and if not, you can still be a gamer, and you can just play single player by yourself and never get online.
Yeah, I mean, I also think the community aspect has sort of a positive and negative effect as well. I mean, the community aspect of video gaming is one of the best parts about it, especially for, I don't know, I was going to say gamers like us, but we've already established that that's kind of a subjective term.
Game enthusiasts.
Game enthusiasts. But it's also, you know, the community of video games is also what gives us our hardcore Call of Duty and Madden players, right? Who only play Call of Duty and only play Madden. So, I don't know. I mean, community is just, it's got its good points and it's got its bad points.
Definitely.
One last thing on your list for being a gamer. Let's say one achievement you should, not necessarily an Xbox 360 achievement or a PlayStation trophy, one thing you have to accomplish in order to be classified as a gamer.
I think that in order to be a gamer, you need to have at least beaten one game.
Yes.
Like, you need to beat a game. Even if it's like Angry Birds or if it's Final Fantasy VII, like, you need to beat a game. You need to know the feeling of, like, well, I'm done. Like, I don't need to play this game again, or that was a great conclusion. Like, you need to know that, because that is core to gaming, is that end factor.
Yeah, I completely agree. I would just say, and just to further that I think it would be important for a gamer to find something that they can actually get themselves really enveloped in or really lost in, like something like a Mass Effect or something like you know, something that really sort of showcases the power of the video game medium and its storytelling ability and the way it can really sort of enthrall and entertain. So maybe just that. Yeah,
like finding your genre, the one that you like.
Exactly.
See, Jet's played like the safe end. He doesn't have to answer.
I've just been playing.
He's like just sitting over here, like, yes, speak.
Yeah, those are all good. I have one confession to make about beating games, and I have never beaten.
You've never beaten.
Never beaten the original Super Mario Brothers.
Oh, really?
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I remember beating it several times.
I don't. Maybe I just
you play it so much you can do it.
I've played a ton of that game, and maybe I just suck. I've never beaten it. Can't do it. I probably still couldn't do it to this day. And I've beaten pretty much every other Mario game since then. Still can't beat the first one.
Is it a difficulty thing or just a time thing?
Difficulty thing. I get to like World 8-3 and I get owned every time.
Yeah. Those warships knock you out. That's okay though. I mean, like, really, in my mind, of the 3 NES Marios, like, just beat the third one. Like, that's the best.
Yeah, I agree.
And then beat 2 and see what the hell they were doing with 2.
2 isn't even a Mario game, to be honest. It's another completely different game with Mario sprites put on top of it.
Yeah.
Still,
and turnips.
Still fun.
Yeah, and turnips and POW blocks.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's true. That came from that game, didn't it?
No,
was
that came
from the original Mario?
Original Mario Bros.
Yeah, original Mario. Before they were Super.
Yeah. It was something
cool.
I think we'll wrap it up from here. That was a really, really great way to end off the show. Matt, before we go, anything you wanted to pimp?
I'm not even sure what I'm doing this week, to be honest. I think it has something to do with back to school. So I might be doing a recap or sort of a replay of the game Bully.
All right.
Ooh, fitting.
Which I actually really enjoyed when I first played it. So
Yeah.
I'm going to see if I can dig it out and maybe give it a few more hours and run a review of that.
Jason, what do you got going on?
I am happy that my over at Slick Gaming, I finished my comic section, and I'm starting that going on. So I've been reading a lot of. Actually, I've been reading Sonic the Hedgehog, all the Archie comics, and earlier I was saying I got the Mega Man one, so I'm working on getting mini reviews and like fun factoids up about those comics for other people to enjoy. And I think right now the first 3 actually look pretty cool, so I'm proud of that. And there's going to be more coming up this week, so looking forward to that.
Awesome. On Splitkick, I've already mentioned the board game thing. Yeah, they've expanded into board games. I'm looking forward to seeing what else comes out of that. As far as my work goes, my Wii U post should be going up soon, so it'll be some of the stuff we covered on the podcast last week and some other new stuff that I did not mention on the show. And on In Third Person, I've got a lot of fighting game stuff coming up. So talking about the Street Fighter 25th anniversary box set.
Next time we speak, we will probably both own it.
May or may not. We will
I can
see.
safely say I probably won't be owning it.
Okay, fair enough.
Vicariously, I'll live it through you guys.
I've got a post lined up around Marvel vs. Capcom Origins. And I've also got the latest installment in my Universal Fighting Game Guide, which is a
Ooh, nice.
monthly installment of fighting game strategy and tactics that kind of works across every single game. So this month I'm talking about the difference between gimmicks versus intelligent tactics, and kind of the difference between the two, and why you generally want to lean towards smart tactics, though gimmicks can work sometimes, just don't abuse them. So definitely check that out when that comes out on, I believe, the 18th is when I usually do those.
Right on.
Yeah.
I got an idea. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go back and read through all the history of your fighting game tips, and then we'll sort of document my progression into the fighting game genre, and right up to when I win some sort of world championship. We'll see how that goes.
If you are willing to learn, I will gladly teach you.
We can keep that as like a side blog.
Yeah.
The teachings of Matt. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it.
All right, thanks, guys. So, till next time, we will see you later. Bye.
Actually, Jed, hold on one sec. Do you guys use Twitter?
Oh, yeah.
at all?
I made a note that we were supposed to promote where people can reach us.
Oh, well, there you go.
So, Matt, where are you on Twitter?
It's okay, Jed. I got it. I'm on Twitter. It's Matty Lang, MATYLANG. First four, well, actually, not even close. It's Matt Lang, like my name. That's terrible. I wish we could edit that out. We can't, so I'll just keep going. Matty Lang on Twitter, and you can catch me at biffbampop.com.
Jason, where can people find you?
All right, I am at J Jasicki. It's my last name, so it's at JJASICKI. And you can catch me at Inside Gaming Daily for the reviews blog, and at jsicktheslick.wordpress.com, or you can just Google Slick Gaming. Should pop up.
All right, and you can tweet me at Jetlandicho, so that's JETTLANDICHO. Admittedly, I am not on Twitter all that much, but I do check my Twitter every now and then to see who's messaged me, and if you'd like to give us some feedback on the show, please do so. And you can find my site at inthirdperson.com, and find me at Splitkick at splitkick.com.
Nice.
Matt, did I miss anything else?
No, I think we're good.
All right, cool. And let's wrap this up.
I like it.
See you guys.
All right. See you later.
Later.